Crypt, your bi-weekly horror hotfix. I'm Ecdysis, and today I'm going to bring you a fun collection of classic PS1 horror sequels. I thought it'd be a fun theme to dive on into some of the classics, since lately we've kind of been doing a lot more modern games, and, you know, every now and again it's nice to dive back into the world of tank controls and, well, I guess horror, in a way. Before we do begin, though, I do want to say that SGDQ 2023 is coming up from May 28th to June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Prize submission is not open until May 15th, and you can go to gamesinaquick.com for more information. Anyway, yeah, today we are looking at a variety of PS1, honestly, all those PS1 games that had more action sequels. I don't know what it was, but in the world of horror, the second game was always the one that you just amped everything up. First game, a lot more horror, a lot spookier. Second game, all right, let's just shoot everything. So we're going to take a look at those games. Anyway, to kick things off, we're going to be going into Dino Crisis 2 with Punchy, which I want to mention before we begin this one. There's been something neat that's been going on, which is a fun phenomenon, which actually kind of want to make me do this, which is every time Punchy's been on this show, he mysteriously just gets like a huge PB. So I think it happened again, but we'll see when it happens. Anyway, Dino Crisis 2 with Punchy, let's go.
Hello everyone, I'm Punchy, this will be Dino Crisis 2, and Ecdysis is right. In fact, today, not even like 8 hours ago, I got a 50-second PB in this. The hotfix blessing, as I've come to start calling it. It's happened every single time he's put me on this show. Yes, this is Dino Crisis 2. We'll be doing any percent normal. This is the standard category. There is no like easy. Easy is only available on the Japanese version of the game, so everyone just runs normal instead for like parity with the English version. But anyway, starting 3, 2, 1, video games. Okay, so this is the more actiony sequel to Dino Crisis, per the intro, and it's so actiony that there is in fact no walk button. Like, you run by default and you cannot walk for any reason. You are always running. And here are dinosaurs. Get out of my way. You can run and shoot. When you kill dinosaurs, you get points, because this is a game about combos. So our first goal is firstly to get to where we're going, but while we're going, we need to accrue a 5 combo without getting hit. So you see, at the end of every room like this, you get a room total. If your combo is at least 5, well, you've killed 5 enemies. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 5 combo. Different. If you've killed 5 enemies and you haven't taken a hit, you get the no damage bonus, which awards you a smashing 2,000 points, and we need many points to purchase weapons. Okay, that's 4. 4 will not get you there, but it is nice to pick up extra points here and there. These rooms are not generally ideal for getting 5 combo. There is a particular room we're kind of aiming for with that. Other thing I found out today about this game, during my current PB run, one of like the runners with a better time, I think it's the person with the console record for this game, told me, by the way, you can just hold down the button to climb ladders and use doors instead of like mashing it constantly. And I was like, what? I've been running this game for like 2 weeks, and like that's how, like, now this is when you tell me? Bit late. Been mashing my poor thumbs off this whole time. I think it's longer than 2 weeks. I don't keep track. It feels like 2 weeks. I think it's been longer than 2 weeks though. Alright, first out of here. Kind of the first area we've cleared and run through. Right now we're just sort of exploring the area is sort of the plot. Nope, none for you. That guy didn't die, that's a little unfortunate. This is one room that's a candidate for the 5 combo. But due to the way spawning works, you have to kill the first guy because it can't spawn too many enemies in the room at once, because otherwise the PS1 starts to like chafe against the hardware limit. One down. This is the other good room for getting a 5 combo. 2 dead. Oh, look at him, he's creeping. And that's a 5 combo without taking any damage, and that is a no damage bonus, a cool 2,000 points. We need to do that twice to get all that we need. Now I'm being attacked by a T-Rex. I would like to not be being attacked by a T-Rex, so we're going to run away. Oh, we tried. This is a full heal. It also cures bleeding, which is the main reason I picked that up, because otherwise bleeding is basically you die. So for general run safety and, you know, like marathon safety, pick up a health pack. It's good for you. Okay, so we're chased by the T-Rex into this room, this building. I'm going to head into the medical room over here to pick up a key plate. All key plates are color-coded, but none of the icons have the color on them. We're also going to pick up a resuscitation pack on the back shelf here. That's essentially a continue, so useful for this type of run. I want this key plate. This is actually the green key plate. You'd never know this because the icon is blue. Thanks. Enemies spawn in this room. Shoot them out of the way. Where enemies spawn and in what quantity is like semi-random, so sometimes you have to react kind of fast. Get out of my way. There you go. So Dylan's shotgun. This is Dylan, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Dylan's shotgun is good in the early game because it gets like hard knockdowns and everything, so you can just run past and shoot everything. Alright, so now we're going to get a key card by using our key plate, which I told you is green. This was red. That's not the same color. So Dylan is a very silly boy and has used the wrong key plate. This triggers the security system and locks him in the room, so he calls his mum for help. So now we're Regina. Regina's goal, per this text box, is free Dylan the Stupid, who currently locked himself in his room. Regina has this stun rod, which you can use to activate electrical switches so she can go places that Dylan can't. So our goal with Regina is we need to purchase a weapon called the Firewall. This lets her shoot flames out of her midsection. I honestly don't really understand how that works physically. But we need it to burn away some poison plants that would otherwise kill us if we tried to run past. So we are seeking to attain 5 combo with Regina. Without getting hit. That is getting hit, notably, so that doesn't work. Forget this room. Try again next room. You have a couple chances to get it. You can also just reset the room if you want. Like this is like an action game. It's kind of like they made a game out of the Mercenaries mode from Resident Evil 3. They kind of meant to want to engage the combat and like do the high scores and stuff. I'm gonna have to stand my ground here. 3 combo. 4 combo. 5 combo. That is the other no damage bonus. And this ladder spawns this dude. I forget their name. Aliosaurus, I think. They can only be hurt on like one side of their head. And they kind of move in such a way as to make it difficult to hit. We have to pass through that rooms a few times, so that enemy will come up again and again. Will I get... No. Now, those green raptors can, like, do perfect Okizeme on you as soon as you get to the top of the ladder and hit you with that, like, frame 0 on wake-up type beat. Enter the safe room, leave it immediately. This triggers a cutscene with a mysterious mute girl who we then handcuff to a pole for no obvious reason. Ignoring her, she's not important for now. Purchase the firewall. And equip it. You can only have one sub-weapon out at a time, so it's a choice between either the stun rod or the firewall. The one property of sub-weapons in this game is that they're all a little invincible on startup, meaning you can kind of use them like a parry for difficult situations. Okay, now we're gonna run back through this guy, and he might be a... What are you doing? Okay, I tried shooting him to get him to back off, but he just sort of jumped out of the way anyway. Whatever that guy is up to is a bit random. This game has rakes of randomness. There's like a lot going on at any given moment. You kind of, there's a lot of dynamism to this one. Sometimes you gotta react, sometimes the positioning is just unfortunate. Like this. Get out of the way. Oh, I didn't get hit. Fine by me. Okay, so this is the poison plant room, which is a bit scary because if you do this wrong, you can die instantly. You want to get all 3 of these with 1 flame grenade. That is 2, but it's the correct 2, so I'm going to live with that. But then we must move carefully around these. The purple ones are the most dangerous. They do the most damage by far. You can kind of avoid a lot of these. Those two don't necessarily need to be burned, but if you're on the wrong cycle, you can get clipped by them, and taking half your life bar when you don't expect to is a great way to die suddenly. These two gotta go. And these three especially gotta go. Bit too far back there. There we go. And that's all we needed the firewall for. This makes this passageway safe for both characters to cross. And you will have to cross through that room many, many times. So get used to bobbing and weaving through the poison plants. And with our pathway now secure, we can work on the objective of freeing Dylan from being locked in his bedroom. That's kind of the general pattern of this game's progression now that I'm thinking about it, is Dylan does something, makes a mess, and Regina has to clean it up. This says something, I'm sure, but I'm too tired to think on what. Right, where the T-Rex used to be, there are now pterodactyls. They're kind of terrifying, because they can inflict bleed if you're unlucky, and they sweep across in big motions like that. That was a lucky whiff. I turned at the right time. Right, first we've got to pick up Dylan's wrong key plate. Remember, this is the green one, even though the icon is not green. This is pertinent. It's relevant to a color puzzle. It like bugs me that it's not colored in the icon. Sadly, Regina's pistol isn't as good as causing knockdowns as Dylan's shotgun, so it makes it a bit harder for her to just run through. Even if you shoot the dudes, sometimes they just decide not to react. Yep, that's a problem. I have to heal that. That's bleeding. Bleeding kills you, and it's kind of random if they decide to do it or not, so that's unlucky. Fortunately, you start the game with at least one healing item that can cure you of bleeding, and I pick up a couple of over the course for safety, because bleeding will just drain your health very, very quickly. So we use our green key plate, it goes back in here, and now we want the blue key plate, which is this one. The blue key plate is the correct one, which is why I think the icon's colored that way. But then there's no way to check which color you have from the inventory if you pick up the wrong one, if you, like, misunderstand the puzzle. Because the puzzle is like the color of the receptor out front of the door in the previous room we were in, which we haven't actually seen in this run because I walked past it. Dylan, thus freed, our protagonists return to their time travel boat. That is a real thing. They have a boat. It's got a time travel gate on the back of it. All cutscenes in this game are skippable, so I'm kind of like having to abridge the plot here. They get back to their boat and discover, oh no, our time travel gate is trashed. We need to fix it or we can't return to our time, because they're like thousands of years in the past or something at the moment. And now Dylan has to go find a new battery, such that they can make the boat move again. Dylan cannot activate electronic door, so he has to take a completely different path through here. Normally this is a game about acquiring lots of points from fighting lots of dinosaurs to get all kinds of different weapons, but any percent kind of works out to being something like a low percent because we don't really need to buy anything except the 2 weapons necessary for progress. Also, there is a hidden keycard here. It is 100% necessary to progress the game. The game does tell you that it's there, but much later than the first time you pass through this room. So under most normal play circumstances, you get much further in the game and then realize you have to backtrack all the way there to go and get that key. But it is there from the start. It's just invisible. Hello. Goodbye. Well, hey, we both missed each other. We both have terrible aim. You and me both, Dino. What does TRAT mean? The acronym on the back of Dylan's vest? I'm honestly not sure. I've never remembered it. Tactical Rescue Assault Technician. So I've made at least 2 of those up. I'm not sure at all. Ow. Yep, they have a hitbox on spawning. It's some generic military sounding hoobly-doo. Okay, running back through with Dylan. All the raptors have kind of gained a health buff at this point, so Dylan's shotgun is now no longer sufficient to always cause a knockdown in one hit. And with Dylan, with this room now semi-cleared with Regina, Dylan can now pass through it without issue. Well, with some issue. One has to memorize the line to move through here smoothly, otherwise you get hit by poison and die. Which is, shockingly, bad. We're essentially running all the way over to where Regina once was because there's a door covered in vines, and where Regina has the stun rod to access electrically locked doors, Dylan just has a giant machete, so he can cut vines off of vine-locked doors instead. There's this guy again. Where is he at? What's he doing? He's just staring at me. If he wants to just prance around me in a circle, that's perfectly fine. Frame 0. Ah, there's that frame 0. There's the perfect Okizeme. Get that raptor to Eva. Sometimes they hit you with an attack exactly as you get up from a ladder, and there is nothing you can do about it. It is perfectly timed. It is frame 0. Even if you mash a melee attack out, you will not get the iframes in time. The Okizeme is perfect. Alright, now we have Kung Fu Raptors. They do flying drop kicks at the back of your head. Okay, they didn't actually go for it. They went for their poison spit instead, which is fine by me. But they do giant kung fu kicks at the back of your head, I promise. Okay, so now we try and use a keycard to open this door, and it gets stolen by a small dinosaur. A little compy. Incidentally, compies are my favorite dinosaur. Post your favorite dinosaur in chat. Look at the little guy. Look at this little Dickens. Love him. I love him. But give him my keycard back. So we're trying to corral him into this hallway. That's very good. That's very good. We shoot the gun and get him to run into that hole. Perfect. Love that. Ooh. There's a high variance in that section based on how the compy decides to behave itself, and that was very nice. Now we must close.
Oh, I don't know about dinosaurs. Since you mentioned dinosaurs and I guess your favorite dinosaur, for anyone in chat, if you say the pterodactyl is your favorite dinosaur, you're wrong. Apparently it's not a dinosaur.
Really now?
I learned that from Kyo Rio Hunter. He knows a lot about dinosaurs. That is one thing I know about dinosaurs.
Well, this game's scientifically inaccurate. I can't believe my life is a lie.
Well, it's just Crisis when you fight that one.
It's just a regular Crisis. No dinos anymore. Anyway, I trapped the compy in a cage. Closing the vents will cause it to run into the cage because it's got nowhere else to go. Get keycard back. That can be a scary section for a run, because if the compy runs the wrong way at the start, it can ruin you, like, everything. But that was quite good. Oh, there's the flying dropkick. I was ready for it. I was 100% ready for that. No nonsense. And here's a spare battery, just kind of lying on the floor. How convenient. Battery thus obtained, our goal is to go all the way back to the ship. But now, new enemies will spawn as we do so. Is that close enough to count? Nope. Let's go. Ikimasen. A little too early to try and use the keycard. Ooh, 3 combo. There's no need to worry about combo anymore. But sometimes you get a nice combo and I'm like, ooh, combo. See big number, my brain lights up. Yeah, so now the Kung Fu Raptors are going to harass us as we kind of go through the normal motions. They're kind of easier to deal with than the Raptors, despite the game kind of positioning them as stronger. Because they're smaller, which makes them easier to run around. Alright, where this guy spawns is a big deal. Where are you? Wait, okay. If you try and run too far forward there, before he's decided to jump up to that, him moving down from the lower level up to your one has a giant hitbox and he'll flatten you, which is bad. So if you don't see him there, wait a second. We once again both just completely missed each other. Any big version differences between JP and US besides easy mode? Not any major differences like gameplay-wise, but in the Japanese version, every time a major story event happens, you get a little text box saying, your mission is now this. In the American version, that just never shows up at all. The American version's actually faster. The reason I'm not playing the American version is because have you seen the price of this game on eBay? Not happening. Although, the American version ends up losing time to text, because English text is slower than Japanese text, so it's not as strictly as simple as just less text boxes equal American version save time. But I'm pretty sure the American version is still faster. No one's, clocked it exactly. But I'm reasonably sure the American version is faster by some amount. But I didn't feel like paying $120 to save maybe 20 seconds on a speedrun. So, Japanese version it is. Also, it turns out this game is actually $6 on the American PSN, and that was pointed out to me today, being like, don't you have a PS TV? Why don't you just do that? And I was like, oh yeah, I do have a PS TV. Huh. But I've been running on this version, so that's what we're going with for now. I feel like changing the entire hardware setup 3 hours before a hotfix is probably a bad idea. Great way to get gremlins in your tech setup is to just change everything before a big event. I have nightmares about that kind of thing. No, out of the way. When you can trail 3 enemies behind you like this, it's a good situation because the game will not spawn in more than 3 at once. There is a 3 enemy limit. At least for raptors, it depends on the enemy type. I think the dropkick raptors can do 4. Yeah, so 3 like this, the game will not spawn any more in on camera change. So sometimes it might be better to not kill dinosaurs as you run past, because then more won't spawn in front of you. This guy will never hit you if your line is solid. And my line is solid. Honestly, I haven't taken much damage with Dylan in general. It's going well. It's going well. That guy's up there on the shipping container. That's nice. Sometimes he can be in front of here, blocking the ladder. That is another random element. The spawning position and where enemies are standing in general is completely random. The things can just vary a lot, quite arbitrarily. Okay, battery thus in place. Now we can drive the boat. We will drive it to the facility on the lake, but first, a PS1 staple. I like how on the top left it says the digital aiming system. A turret section. This is sort of an auto-scroller. Killing things faster, I'm pretty sure does help, but the main thing we're paying attention to here is not so much the speed of the kills, but the combo. We would like to use this opportunity while we are forced to kill many dinosaurs to acquire lots of points. But we need about... what is the amount that we need? I think it's about 37,000 for everything we need to purchase over the rest of the run. So we would like to acquire a combo. Oh yeah, these dinosaurs also only take damage if you hit them, like, directly in the head, but it's really fussy about what constitutes the head. 12 combo. It's gonna break here because the next group doesn't spawn in quickly enough. But starting with a 12 combo is pretty good. That gives me a nice 10,000 points to work with. Where do you think you're going? Quit circling around me. There you go. Looking good. Nice 20 combo building here. Uh-oh. No, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit. I'm not gonna get hit. I blocked that. I blocked those. Cool.
Good job. We're here.
A nice 32 combo.
Hang around the arcades much?
Hang around the arcades much. A nice 32 combo. No damage as well. Also multiplies the point gain you get here by 2. So I got 68,000 points. I think that's a new personal best. I keep track of that. I'm great at parties. 68,000 is more than enough for the rest of the run, so that means I can put that out of my mind. If you kind of underscore it, you might have to pick up extra points, like, elsewhere, depending on what route you're doing. But 68,000 is plenty, so I don't have to worry about that. Go me. Okay, so now as I run through the lakeside facility, I will be being harassed by Nessies. When they go for a bite, I can go for a melee swing and attempt to iframe through it. The timing is kind of hard. But there it is. That was a parry right there. Nice, didn't get got by the pterodactyls. Look along the shipping crates here, we should be good. That kind of scares me, move a bit left there, that'll do. This is where we use the keycard, the invisible keycard we picked up with Dylan. If you do not have it, this is where you get the hint to go all the way back. We would rather not go all the way back. So we don't. Once again, I'm going to try and parry my way through this segment, although coming up here is a huge element of randomness in this game's run, at least on the console version. Ah, too late. You missed. So the code to get into an elevator coming up here is randomly determined between 1 out of 8 possible choices. And the process to actually divine the code in gameplay involves like getting a key and opening a box and going all the way back. So in a speedrun, you just guess. You just start iterating the list. And obviously, this can either occur on your first try or your 8th. Ow. Give me this ID card. No! Sometimes you get knocked down there. It's a bit random. There's not much you can do about it. Okay, random key codes. What number shall I get? 0, 1, 5, 3. No. 2, 3, 5, 0. Wow, second try. Holy moly. That's good. First try is obviously ideal, but I will not complain about second. Are the codes equal chance? As far as we know, yes. Okay, now we have this electrical circuit puzzle, question mark? It's more like a game of whack-a-mole. Sometimes the lights complain, so you hit them with your stun rod until they don't complain. This is how engineering works. Am electrical engineer IRL, can confirm. See, they turn blue. That's how you know that circuits are happy. This is how it works in the real world. Okay, done with that. Now we can move on to getting this diving suit, and thus beginning an interesting portion of Dino Crisis 2. It's an underwater segment in a tank control game with platforming. Quite the combination. First thing we want to do here, turn this corner sharply, use the auto aim to turn around, and then start mashing our sub-weapon, which is this like weird pressure glove thing that stuns the enemy. It doesn't actually do any damage, but it pushes us backwards, which is good. So they're stunned and therefore not bothering me, while I attempt to stride to the exit. That's probably going to hit me. Nope, you missed. You missed. You fool. Works for me. Okay, so one of the reasons we needed a lot of points from the shooting gallery section is to purchase the aqua grenade here. This is necessary for progress, but it's also the only real option you have for doing good damage while you're in the underwater segment. You have a harpoon gun, but it sucks. But also the aqua grenade is necessary to progress the game anyway. You need to blow something up with it. There's a specific line to take here. Kill this dude. Try to take the corner as sharply as you possibly can. Just for general efficiency's sake, but also because it results in that second guy getting stuck on the corner. Nah, he's not stuck. If he doesn't manage to get stuck, you gotta do a cool 360 in the air like that to kill him, otherwise he will bite you in the bum on the way out. But ideally, he doesn't bother you at all, and he gets stuck trying to, like, navigate around the corner. Alright, this room, enemies can spawn from anywhere. We need to knock down that platform up there with our aqua grenade. Where are they coming from? I can hear them, but I cannot see them. Aha! Go away. We jump up here, jump up here. I'm concerned by you. Go away. The one thing is that while you're in the underwater segment, any time is a good time to jump, so you can walk off that ledge and then jump, like seconds after. You have permanent coyote time. I see a second spawn. This is a lot of spawns. aim your gun before you start to walk off this ledge, drop down a little, then shoot, then jump, thus breaking the platform here while you're in midair in mid-jump. This saves time because if you land on the platform and then shoot, it shows you a little cutscene that's like, oh hey, maybe I can shoot this with my grenade. But if you do it while you're in midair, it never plays. It's a little skip. It also saves you the time of your landing recovery, because that happens during the cutscene. Get the shutter plug. You missed again! That's quite lucky that missed, actually. Okay, here we must time a jump pretty much exactly as we cross this camera transition, about here-ish. Thus, jumping over that enemy. If you're a bit late with that, you get hit. Instead, we can just stride back to the control room. Not wishing to jinx this, but this is going quite well. Like everything I'm outlining, there is a degree of precision and sometimes luck involved with all of this. Very cool. Doors are now open to the boss arena. For an action game like Dino Crisis 2, there's actually a very small amount of required combat. Like, you can work your way around most things. Interesting aim there on that one. I'm probably going to have to do another 360 shot, because that was quite weird. Unless they get stuck around the corner? Nah, 360 shot, whee! Ooh, I even turned all the way around before landing. Very cool. I don't think that's optimal, but it looks sick. Once again, the spawning as we walk through here can be random, so I gotta be ready to react to a weird spawn. Also, the swimming dinosaurs aren't really bound by the same concept as walls as the player, so they can sometimes just appear on the left side of the screen there. Like, through the wall. Get me a city key card. You will need that to enter a different area. I actually have no idea what the game does if you don't pick it up. And now is not the time to find out. Okay, so now we are locked in a room with a boss. A very big Nessie. We're going to try and time a jump as we round this corner, as their head just pokes through the wall like that. That is not a bug or a glitch, the game is just like that. I'm going to try and go for that optimal stuff, where you drop down a little bit here. And yeah, nicely done. Didn't get hit on the pass-through there, which can only be done if your line is good. Now, we don't actually have to fight this boss. It locks us in the room with this glass door, but as a little kind of secret thing, you can just shoot the glass out. Nessie gives me a nod of encouragement on the way out. Good for them. And we're out. That was a very good underwater segment, all things told. And now we go back to Dylan. Something that's nice and relatively forgiving about this run is that every time a character change occurs, your health bar is refilled. So now that we're back as Dylan, all the damage I took during the underwater segment is forgiven. We are back at full health with Dylan. And the next time we play as Regina, she will also be at full health. And you character swap in this run quite frequently. So on a decent run, healing rarely comes up. Last mandatory purchase of the run, we need this chain mine. That is a sort of grenade launcher type thing that breaks rocks. We need to break rocks. We're going to punch a boulder with a gun. Dylan did it before it was cool. No respect gets put on Dylan's name as a RE series protagonist. I mean, Dino Crisis isn't Resident Evil, but like everyone considers it as... Look, it's in the same umbrella, you know? You know what I mean?
It's accurate.
Okay, so getting through this next door, very random. We need to swing at it with our machete, and we have to just hope we don't get menaced by these idiots. Ow, that's getting menaced by these idiots, which is bad. Only one hit's fine. Now we swap to the chain mine. Kung Fu Raptors are back. They're going to kick me in the back of the head. I'm going to kick them in the back of the head first with this gun. Oh, nothing spawned. No, there it is. Ow, they hit me in the back of the head. They took umbrage with that. That's okay. Okay, now we're at the cave. In order to get in, we gotta blow up this rock with our chain mine. That's what this is for. Now we're in the cave, where there is cool lava. I just like the vibe of this location. It's very PS1. This whole game is PS1 as heck. Alright, now this enemy appears. Big armored dinos that can be flipped onto their back using the chain mine. You'd like to just evade them where possible. Like this. That is a lot of spawns. You can't touch me. Nope, he's chasing. Damn, he moved fast. Nope. They're all being very aggressive, and I am spoosing all of them. Break the one on the left. So here, two spawn in the same place, which can be very, very dicey. I tend to try and do... Ooh, interesting. Can I nudge my way around this? That was kind of shaky, but I got through without getting stuck, so it'll do. Nope. You can get stuck behind those two there that spawn in the hallway, because they're collectively they're wide enough to block the whole thing. Good cave. I will take that. Right, now we're on the signal segment. We swap again to Regina with full health. I would like to not get bit by this guy. Ah, I framed it. Didn't I frame that one? So we need to use a signal flare to signal someone manning an artillery gun to shoot down these big things in the way, while preferably not getting knocked away from the ladder by this douche. Go away. Bruh, move. Fortunately, taking damage here isn't that big of a deal because the character swaps come in so rapidly that we got our health back very quickly. I'm shooting that guy to hopefully stun him out of the way. I think that actually worked. First recorded instance of hit stun actually working on a red one of those. Ow. Cool. We have cleared the path to the last gun. Another character swap, prompting again a full health refill. Uh-oh. No, they're blocking. Why are you blocking? Don't block. Too much biting. Not a fan. The damage is not the real implication there, it's the time of getting hit. But okay, we barrel from set piece to set piece, because directly after the signal flare segment, there is the Triceratops shooting segment, which is very reminiscent of a certain arcade game. We are being chased by a Triceratops. I want to shoot it so that it dies. We do this by trying to get counter hits. So when it goes in for a swing, we try and get that counter hit. But the later you do it, the more points you get. Bigger points, better counter hit. Except if you eat the hit, like, if you trade, that's the best counter hit of all, but you take damage for doing it. Yeah, 1500 like that, that's a nice juicy counter. 1200 is acceptable. 1500, nice, nice, nice. Good numbers, good numbers. Ah, they're splitting. That's not the good luck. 1200, fine by me. Oh, 3000, that guy's dead. Where do you think you're going? I can see you over there. This movement. Interesting movement, but I think that went pretty well, actually. I got nice, juicy counter hits. Big 1500s. That's what you want to see. Because that section is not, in fact, an auto-scroller. It very much depends on how good your counter hitting is. Get the residential key from this store. So now we're in Edward City proper, where everything has gone wrong. I am somehow not getting hit by all of this. That was, okay. No further questions. More Kung Fu Raptors. Going for the jumps. This door, you gotta be like point blank for it to register the key. I've learned. Alright, and now, tank controls in a tank. Except the tank doesn't actually use tank controls. Everything else does, but not the tank. It's directional. Pretty much as soon as this minigame, like, starts, you have to be really ready to hit triangle, like, the instant it begins to fire off a flash directly into the T-Rex's face so it doesn't immediately bite you straight in the bum. We only have so many flashes indicated by the yellow shells in the bottom right. He still bit me. How dare you? We're not really trying to avoid damage here, that's not the ideal. We're just trying to outrun the T-Rex. So you want to space them out. No. That really didn't count as a counter hit. That was the most counter hit of anything I've ever seen. Yes, 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 go roar over there. If it makes you feel better. No. Still no. Go away. Cool. Once we're around this corner, we are good. And all of this was to obtain a gas mask. All of it. All of it was just for a gas mask. So now we can get deeper into the poison plant area. Like, remember that bit from, like, the very start of the run? We're going back. So I'll order a business, navigate back to the poison plant area, and then we can get deeper into that section. And we can now fight, no, don't do that. You need to hit that. Fight Regina's final boss. Both Dylan and Regina kind of have, like, different final bosses. This is Regina, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. I just sort of assumed everyone knew that. Because she's the only character from Dino Crisis people actually like. Ow. Run away! It's working. As long as they don't flip me, I'm okay with it. I don't want to take too much damage, though. Like, you've got a lot of leeway to take damage, but you don't have infinite leeway. Okay, so this is the deeper part of the jungle we can get into now with our gas mask. It is overflowing with poison. Nope. Hey, where's the third guy? Supposed to be 3 in this room. Okay, I guess the third guy's late for work. Whatever. Moving on. Works for me. That is good luck. We've made it to the data room. This is where the game sort of feels a bit hilariously like scrambling to finish, because we get the data and the next mission that pops up is mission complete. Go home. You get in here, you get the data that you were looking for as part of your military mission, and the game just goes, mission complete. Good job, Regina. But it's not that simple. But we are then attacked by the Gigantosaurus. Not a T-Rex, it's bigger. So our goal here is to cause these pipes to emit a flammable gas that we then ignite with our stun rod. Do not question the mechanics of the scenario, or I do not have answers for you. You want to hit this guy somewhere between, like, 4 to 6 times. It depends especially on if he feels like being a fart bag who won't walk into the flames. There we go. I think he like inched far enough forward for that to count. But no, if you get counter hits off the flames, it can actually do bonus damage. But going for the counter hits I'm honestly not familiar with the timing for it, so I don't really try. And it can also like mess up the cycle, so it's a bit weird to do, even if you do know how it works. It is minor time save, but I thought sometimes it can happen without you really trying to do it. Like that, I think that was counter. No, if it was counter, it would have said so. Go look in the top left. Anyway, killed that guy. For now. Now we get a sick drum beat, while I once again tend to whining electrical circuits. But now there's 5 of them. It's a very sick drum beat, but one feels like it might be a bit too intense for this. They give you 10 minutes to do this, because I think they expect you to spend longer on the boss fight. Okay, electrical circuits thus attended to. Now our goal is to disarm a giant missile, because otherwise it's going to blow up and, kill everything, including us. And the game gives you a lot of time to work out how to do this. If you don't hit them in time, do they reset? The electrical circuits? Yes. Right, yes, I can see the chat, but I'm also on, something of a delay. Anyway, missile disarmed. It's that simple. Right, so that was good. I think I didn't take any damage when I was fighting the T-Rex. This gets me a nice bonus, which doesn't matter at all because I have no need for the points. But it makes me feel good about myself. Alright, now we gotta do the final exit, which is a bit scary because these dudes can spawn in anywhere in all kinds of places. Yeah, see those two? They can combo into each other and make your life very difficult. But I have smoothly ran past them, that was good. Very good, very good. Ow. Rude. Nah, I don't like this. I was very unconvinced about it. Swapping there is definitely quite slow, but I was probably going to get mauled if I didn't do that. That's unfortunate. They were both blocking the way in a very specific way that I was like, nah, just equip the chain mine. Okay, now we need to open a sewer. A lot of things, the cutscene I just skipped, we skipped over a lot there. Regina escapes, we return to the boat. Then we gotta try and ride the boat out of here with our newly acquired data. But oh no, the gate is blocked, so now we must protect one of our comrades while he attempts to open a sluice. Horror games are fundamentally all about sluice gates. This is known. We do this by firing a giant sniper rifle that Dylan just finds near the gate. It's just there. It's just kind of sitting there. He just picks it up and is like, oh, cool. This game is extremely video games. Things just happen, and the justification for it is extremely thin. It doesn't care, and neither should you. Cool. That done. Another no damage bonus to make me feel good about myself. Now we must manage our girl vitality. It's an escort mission. See, there's girl, there's vitality. But we're going to completely ignore girl vitality and run ahead. And leave her to the whims of dinosaurs. But no, we're going to run to the last bit. I need to listen here for an audio cue. Just take 3 hits. That's not good. So dinosaurs only spawn on camera angle changes, so if we run ahead of girl vitality over here and snipe the dinosaurs from the last screen to the first, none will spawn as she walks all the way through. Her taking 3 hits there is not great. I'm gonna go hard anyway. Okay, I cut that super fine. I tensed really hard. But that's good enough. That's just about right. Come on, girl vitality. Okay, that's the end of the escort section. I cut that so fine. That was terrifying. Not recommended, but I had 2 continues. With the resuscitation pack. Ouch, Dylan bumped a laser grid. Okay, I'm gonna go right. Those 2 are blocking me. No, that's really obnoxious. What a spawn. And I'm bleeding? Boo. That was a deeply unlucky spawn. We need to activate 4 generators to get rid of the laser grid. But that attack there was extremely unlucky. Basically spawned on top of my head to do the worst attack possible. Cool, good hit. The red generator is really, really picky about where you have to stand to activate it. There is no way to convey this in a way that will make sense to people whose brain hasn't been, like, ruined by years of speedrunning tank control games, but that hitbox is weird. I made it look like nothing, but people lose runs to that, like, all the time. Okay, and now we're entering into the final boss. And I don't really know what kind of pace I'm on, but I dare to venture it might be pretty good so far. Like, there's been rough points, but overall I actually think it's looking pretty alright. I feel like it's going pretty alright. Okay, so final boss. Our first order of business is don't get killed. Sounds obvious. But first, we gotta run across this bridge without getting smacked. You gotta stun him at least once with your gun, or he'll break the bridge and kill you. The final boss has a lot of randomness to it, because he can go rage mode and knock you around a bunch, which is bad.
Communication line is now connected.
So our goal is to commandeer a giant satellite. That was a parry. I actually timed it correctly for once. Never before seen footage. Is he going rage mode? He might be going rage mode. Ow, that's rude. The knockdown is deeply unnecessary.
Target is set.
Target is set. That's rage mode. Rage mode is when he just does a 5-hit combo that takes away almost all of your life, and there's nothing you can do about it except eat the hit. Because this is a really cool game. I don't know, this is stupid. This is stupid. I resent this. This is a dumb final boss. That's time loss for sure. I'm like worried about that because honestly the pace has been pretty alright so far. That is that done though. We commandeered the satellite, it blows a giant hole in the earth, but the final boss is stupid. That's just a stupid thing that can happen. It can just attack you 6,000 times in a row and you can't do anything about it. It's just a pointless health check. It's bad. But that is the final boss. And time will be coming up on the final FMV, which follows after this cutscene, which you cannot skip. You get to see, the only cutscene you get to see in full is going to be the very confusing ending.
Regina.
Are you alright?
Yeah, Regina just walks in here, don't worry about her. She got here somehow. Girl Vitality is crushed by a falling server. Her name is Paula, by the way. I never mentioned this because it doesn't come up until after Girl Vitality. She's like Dylan's daughter or something from the future. I don't know. It's what?
No. No.
Yeah, time will be now.
GG.
103 what?
19.
Not. I'm checking. I'm gonna check my splits. I'm checking my splits.
Wait, was it?
Maybe? It's close.
Doesn't it have the final time on the screen?
Regina.
The final time on the screen occurs after the ending cutscene and also after credits, which is like 4 minutes of just sitting. Whenever you finish a run of this game, you have to sit through the entire ending credits.
Well, we are like 7 minutes under estimate, so I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world to watch the ending credits here to find out what you got.
It could be a P. I'm gonna feel bad if it's not, but it's definitely within striking range of being so. IGT shenanigans could occur. It could be. You never know.
Well, I mean, right now, while we are waiting for the ending to see what time you got, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give, or anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to Caladir. They're the person with the world record in the console run of this game, because they've been in my stream chat a lot giving, like, good advice. I don't think I would have gotten a time as good as I currently have in this game without their occasional insight. So that's been nice. The community of this game is like does show up. If you stream the game, they'll find you. If you want to learn the run, they'll find you. I was very surprised by that. I ended up finding out a lot of all of like the minutiae I've been talking about through this run. Dino Crisis 2 turned out to be a more detailed run than I expected, and I learned most of it through their advice. And also If and While. They also helped in the same way. Yeah, every cutscene can be skipped, but not this in the credits. But also, the music is rocking. Yeah, the game ends with Dylan dying due to a server rack falling on top of him and Regina having to, like, build a stable time loop to rescue. It's nonsense. The ending of this game is nonsense.
It sounds about right, especially with the way the Dino Crisis franchise ended up being.
That was quite a good run. Even if it doesn't end up being a PB, that was a very satisfactory run. I'm quite happy with that performance overall. Like, this game is, as hopefully I've been stressing, is quite random in many aspects, so there was no guarantee of that going that smoothly. And now we get some Jurassic Park sounding music instead, which is nothing like anything else in the game, really. Pretty much just for the credits. Yeah, if you want to learn this game, there is the Dino Crisis Speedrun Discord, and there's also a wealth of guides and material available for the game on speedrun.com. They're quite a well-organized bunch. They have questions about specific elements. Especially if you want to run the PC version of this game, they will help you get it going. I'm playing the console version because the PC version of this game is one of those hell ports. Nothing I've tried has worked. Nothing I've tried has worked. Just doesn't behave for me. So I gave up and just ran the console version instead. But fortunately, there is a console leaderboard, so you're not like completely out in the cold if you're like me and the PC port just doesn't want to play ball. Just doesn't want to play ball. You cannot skip the credits, no. I'm playing the Japanese version for what it's worth, and you cannot skip the credits.
Well, while we're waiting at the credits, any idea what the next game you plan on running is, or learning?
Dude,
and I know you picked up this one recently.
You're a cheeky guy. Yeah, no, I was talking to Ignitus in the pre-stream, and I mentioned that, like, oh yeah, you've got Parasite Eve 2 scheduled, and it's like, that was the next thing I wanted to learn after I was done with Dino Crisis 2. Because they're very similar kinds of games. Like, now I see why you've bunched them together. Because I played through Parasite Eve 2 recently, and that actually made me want to run Dino Crisis 2. Because after I finished Parasite Eve 2, I was like, this reminds me of Dino Crisis 2. I bought a copy of this game like a year ago and never ran it. Let's do that. Presented by Capcom. All right. Tell me the time. If it's not a PB, I'm going to be really sad, but it's probably close. Gotta be at least close. What do we got? 57:22. It's like 5 seconds. Ah.
Wait, 5 seconds PB or 5 seconds?
5 seconds out. It's agonizingly close. That's all final boss luck. That's tragic. That's kind of a tragedy, but that's a really good run to show in a marathon. I can't say I'm unhappy with that. Not at all.
It was pretty good.
But just that little bit more though.
Well, there's always next time.
There is always next time.
Anyway, once again, that has been Dino Crisis 2. If you have not checked them out yet, you can find Punchy. I'm pretty sure the link was posted in the chat on the shout-out command, so you can find them there. Just a lot of the different horror game speedrunning stuff, so always a good time. That being said, though, we have plenty of more games for you coming on up just right after this little break we're going to take here. So stand up, touch your toes, stretch your legs, do what you need to do. We'll be right back very quick. And as well, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to push the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. All right, we'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back from the break. Hope you all enjoy that run of Dino Crisis 2. It is always fun looking at the action sequel, like I mentioned, and we're about to go to probably the most significant of the action sequels. Can likely argue that this game is the direct results for all the other games on today's showcase, and really just the whole thing of horror games need to get more amped up as it goes along. And as well, we're going to be kicking up a notch as well, because the runner we're going to be having has done no damage in the past, and we'll be doing it again, seeing how that goes, which we'll talk more about the rules for that as we get into it. Anyway, if we are ready to go, we have Resident Evil 2 Classic with Carcinogen SDA. Take it away.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you all very much for having me.
Yeah.
Hello, GDQ chat. How we doing today? So this is going to be Resident Evil 2, Biohazard 2 in Japanese. We're going to be playing hard difficulty on PC version, and this is Leon A. So hard difficulty is a difficulty that is exclusive to the PC and Dreamcast versions. Everything is roughly 1.5 times as difficult. I will get into that as I go along. I'm going to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so Carcy, to open things up, what are the rules for this no damage?
Well, it's quite simple. You can take certain hits that will cause stun as long as they don't cause any actual points of damage to you. But the idea is that you take 0 points of damage, and yeah, that's basically it.
Hold your fire.
It's not a speed run; it's a smooth run.
Of course. As well, if one were to take damage, what happens?
I will donate $50 to a charity of GDQ's choosing.
Let's go with Black Girls Code. They tend to do pretty well.
Black Girls Code. Black Girls Code loves me.
I don't have a clue. By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies.
Anyhoosin. So to start, here's the dealio. Because everything is roughly 1.5 times harder, except for zombies. Zombies have 3 times as much HP for some reason. And that means that our handgun is a bit on the a bit on the nerf side. However, gotta concentrate here for just a moment. Gotta be listening. Gonna get any headshot procs? Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, yeah, this is actually quite scary. Oh, okay, we got one headshot proc. That's good. So, yeah. In hard mode... Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Go, go, go. Oh, God! What am I doing? This will have to do. All right. I'm going to be at a very severe ammo deficit for the bus. So, damn, wasn't there handgun bullets in either of these garbage cans? Or maybe that's only the US version. Anyway, so because the zombies have an absurd amount of HP this time around, in order to balance things out, our default handgun is given a 10% chance critical hit, which will instantly decapitate a zombie. And also we get like about 33% more bullets, something like that. So yeah, okay, this should be fine. I'm gonna try to do quick fire here if I can. Okay, there we got. Okay, that was good. Okay, that was a bit harrowing, but should be able to clear directly to RPD just fine. Yeah, just kind of getting swept up in these critical hit rolls. It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary, but that's like the scariest part of the run for the time being. So yeah, you get about I want to say about 2/3 of the ammo for like every other weapon pickup. You get 20 ammo instead of 15 ammo for handgun bullets. Your handgun has an additional proc. Otherwise, zombies take like anywhere between 22 to 27 bullets to kill, I think. And shotgun still decapitates, so that's still good. But otherwise, you get like less ammo for like all your other guns.
Months ago, there was this incident involving zombies in a mansion located in the outskirts of this city. Chris and the other STARS members discovered that...
So what with these cutscenes here, I could answer some questions about the run in chat. What percentage of the time in this run is spent doing inventory management? Almost none, actually. Because
long after that,
I only actually visit an item box once.
Started to happen. Hang in there. Don't worry about me. Just rescue the survivors in the other rooms. Here.
Oh, actually, I have a question myself because I know a little bit about Raid 2, and I've seen, I guess, a variety of runners just kind of do the game across different platforms. Is there a reason you like running on PC? Because I think I know some like running on GameCube for these skippable cutscenes, but I know always preferences between consoles. I'm just wondering, is there an advantage for this category or anything like that?
Well, there is the main advantage for like the PC version is like, being able to skip doors. I mean, you can't skip cutscenes, but you can skip doors, which, I think that overall in real time, the GameCube version is faster, specifically because skipping cutscenes is going to be more time saved over skipping doors. But I think that there's like been a mod for the GameCube version that allows for that, but more importantly, for the purposes of this run, hard mode is not available for the GameCube version, thereby making, out of the two versions that hard mode is available, PC version would be faster. And also, I currently only have access to the PC version at the moment anyway, so there you go. We're going to dodge in between these guys. All the zombies in hard mode also go at almost full speed, so dodging them is a bit of an exercise in panic attack. You go over this way. This just didn't clear that first push all the way. In this hallway, there's 3 zombies. In Leon's scenario, we gotta hug this wall in order to get to the STARS office. Pick up the shotgun here, and pick up the diary and unicorn medal.
Leon!
It's good to see
Do people run the N64 version of this game? Not lately,
It looks like
but I would very highly not recommend it.
I will say it has one neat thing going for it, which especially as, I guess, gaming has changed, especially, I guess, with speedrunning, you see so many different, like, let's say, mods for games. I know the N64 version has the only built-in randomizer in a Resident Evil game.
Right.
Randomizer, quote unquote. It only really randomizes your
take it.
It only randomizes your health drops and your ammo drops, and
That way
that's
we can
literally
keep
it.
touch of anything.
So you can like end up being like super stacked and getting like magnum ammo just really early on. And sometimes it's like an absurd amount of magnum ammo that drops. I think like maybe the only reason that one might want to play the N64 version is for the EX files maybe, which is like a little bit of extra lore. Because at the time Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64 came out, Capcom was trying to set up for Resident Evil 0 to debut on the Nintendo 64 before it got canceled and remade into the GameCube version that we've all played by now. So once we've gone downstairs here, we're gonna put the shotgun here. I'm gonna double decap these guys because I don't trust moving around these guys, and there's also a little bit of variance in the rate, or like their reaction times, because sometimes they might react quickly and spin around and bite you. Sometimes they might react slowly and just kind of head you off at the wrong time, or something like that. So because this is hard mode, and there is that little bit of RNG you have to worry about, it's better to just go ahead and get rid of those guys. So like if I got grabbed by these hands right here, this actually would not count because the hands actually do 0 damage. Liquor is just gonna jump and swipe at me like an idiot. If you played the remake, you probably know that liquors are completely blind. Seems like the hard mode run uses much more gun than regular runs. I mean, there is a hard mode speedrun route, but I'm not running the hard mode speedrun route. Because the thing that I am prioritizing the most is safety. I want to clear the game without taking any damage. For instance here, I'm going to walk through this hallway because I want to keep the liquor asleep for as long as possible, and then once we hit this door over here, we can run for it. But yeah, another thing too about the Nintendo 64 version is it's like impossible to play unless you're playing on a CRT or if you have a retro tank. If you're trying to play it with the expansion pack, you actually need to switch back to the jumper pack, because if you try to play it with the expansion pack, then it does like a million different like sync refreshes and resolution switches. It's a total nightmare to capture. It's a total nightmare to try to play it on like a flat screen TV unless you have like a proper scaler. So it keeps like blinking out a bunch. All right, so now we're here. We're just gonna keep hugging this wall, and then we're gonna decap this one. If I can, please, thank you. Yeah. So while they're still dying, their hitboxes are active. It's only when they are completely still that their collision box fully deactivates. And now we're gonna climb up here, and we're gonna drop down, and then we're gonna hit this switch, and yada yada yada. So this is right and right. What happens if he does get hit? Does the run end? I will continue, with the stipulation that for every damage that I take, I donate $50 to Black Girls Code. So in the Japanese version, there's only 3 zombies as opposed to 4 in the US version, or in the arrange mode. I think the US version is maybe only like marginally more difficult than the Japanese version, in just like 2 to 3 rooms. The zombies are slightly more aggressive. sometimes RNG can screw you over in this room here because crows actually don't they don't react in quite the way you hope. If I hold up and left while running, I will just move a perfect curve around these guys. I think I've only ever had this fail like once ever in like some thousands of attempts. We'll go over this way, and then I'm going to... Oh! Yeah, that was pretty scary. It's not very often that I actually get caught up on walls like that. Aren't non-Japanese versions of games typically harder? I would say that the trend kinda stopped maybe around late PS2 era, maybe? Because, yeah, it's like Japanese versions of games are easier, but also game rental, as well as, you know, selling used copies of games was illegal for a pretty significant period of time. But because there was a game rental market that developers had to worry about, oh my god, that game developers had to worry about in the United States and in, I think, Europe as well, it would mean that people would just end up beating games over the weekend and just like returning them. So naturally, Capcom just made the games more difficult for the Western audiences in order to encourage people to actually straight up buy the game. Alright, so we're going to wait for this one to bump on the wall, and then we can hug this wall, and then we are out of here. But yeah, they're all super speedy, these guys. Just gotta try to hit this ladder before... Oh, he's lunging. This could be scary. I hope I actually got the angle correct so that when Leon returns to like his neutral stance... Okay, good. I was afraid that if like Leon returned to like his neutral stance, but that's really more of a Code Veronica thing. If Leon returns to his neutral stance, you know, sometimes I worry that, you know, he might be like 1 pixel off from being able to hit event triggers. Alright, so that's gonna drop. Once the liquor drops from the ceiling, it's safe to make a mad dash for the exit. I'm gonna make sure that I'm... Okay, yeah. This actually would have been bad if I didn't reload my shotgun. We're gonna open this door, we're gonna wait for her to bump into the wall, and then we're gonna go here. I'm gonna try to clear this in 2 shotgun shells. Alright, there's one. And once that zombie groans and raises its arms, that's when we can shoot and decapitate both of those guys. One could actually run around all of them on hard difficulty, but do not recommend. I'm gonna leg Marvin over here, because it is the fastest way to actually, like it is the fastest way to guarantee like a shot that will disable him. So that's actually a thing that is used a lot in speedrunning this game as well, is raising a gun to your feet enables you to fire sooner than if you raise it to your shoulder. Not faster, but sooner. It allows you to fire the gun sooner from your neutral standing animation, as opposed to if you're raising it to your shoulder or raising it high. Alright, so we're gonna 2-2-3-6 so we can get some more shotgun shells. Take that, and then we're gonna decapitate this guy. He got way too close. Way too close for comfort there, but it's okay. We got bullets. Right, and then there's only 2 dogs in the basement as opposed to 3 dogs in the US version. For a very significant period of time, the remake of Resident Evil 2 was the most played speedrun game in the Resident Evil series.
When I saw the uniform, I thought you were another zombie.
But I think that there has been a renewed interest in the older games as a result of the remakes. Some people were satisfied with the remakes, some people weren't.
And what are you doing here?
I'm looking for some guy named Ben. He's one of those reporter types, always looking for a scoop. I heard he was locked up in the cell block, only there's a wrecked car barring the entrance. I've been trying to find another way inside.
Really, no damage dogs is just a matter of, you know, running the same line, because the dogs don't move any faster than they do on normal. So the same dodge applies. As long as you don't mess up the line, you're good. So the reason why the video game was called Biohazard in Japan, or rather I should say the game was renamed to Resident Evil for the Western release, was because the name Biohazard was trademarked by a punk band based out of New York City in the 1980s.
Let me guess.
But they decided on the name Resident Evil.
Get up, now.
The proper grammatical use of Resident Evil not being an evil house. I suppose it is a little bit of a pun, but
Is this the guy?
the Resident Evil,
Ben,
it is to say evil that is resident
that you knew something about what's
as
been going
opposed to
on,
an evil
didn't you?
house,
What did you tell them?
which also allowed
I'm
Tango
trying to
Gameworks,
find my boyfriend.
which
His
was
name's John. He
the
was
creator
working
of
for a
Resident
branch office
Evil's
of Umbrella based in
company,
Chicago, but
new
he suddenly
company after he left
disappeared 6 months
Capcom,
ago.
to
I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
do a similar play on words
Even if I did, why would I want
for the
to
game
tell
Psycho Break,
Okay,
as its English
I say
name
we
is
leave him in
The
there.
Evil Within.
Does anyone know where they put the key to this cell?
I have it right here, officer. But I'm not about to leave.
Trademarks
this
are not punk rock.
Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there.
You know, I was kind of thinking that, but I just didn't actually put it into words. And you're absolutely right. Trademarks are not
Like I
punk
said,
rock.
I'm not leaving this cell. Get out of here before you lead it right to me.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm the only cop left alive in this building.
What?
Look, if you want to live, then you're gonna have to leave with me.
But do you even know how to get out of the city? There's a kennel in the back of the building. Inside the kennel is a manhole.
But yeah,
Go through
Resident
and lead
Evil
into the sewer entrance,
is
but
evil
it
that
won't
is
be
resident,
easy.
evil that resides within.
All right, I'm going.
All right, so coming up here, this is a potential RNG run-ender. After we open this up. We're gonna pop this open, get the shotgun fully reloaded, and then we are going to change the camera angle. Pow, pow, aim up, pow, pow, pow. Uh-oh. He should not be alive. Okay, that should be fine. Gonna keep raising and lowering because we need Leon's auto-aim to tell us where the spider is off screen. There it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. All right, so we're gonna go around this corner here. There we go. Yeah, these spiders, they have a lot of extra HP, and the only way to actually guarantee that you don't get hit by the spiders is to take them out. And that means gunning them down.
Ada? I don't think I've introduced myself yet. My name's Leon. I'm with the RPD. It's a dead end.
You think we can get upstairs through this shaft? Give me a boost. I'll go and check.
Evil that resides within. Thought running past spiders was 100% free. I think the spiders are more aggressive on hard difficulty, but I can test it a little more. Alright, so once we're over here, we're going to hug this wall here and then do a hard right turn. The dog just completely was not aware that I exist that time. Sometimes it can aggro early, sometimes it can aggro late. We're going to drop down here, and we'll push this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Push here. Drop here. Push once. Climb. Drop. 1, 2. Turn, go. So this return trip is a little riskier. I'm just going to wait for these guys to group up. There we go. And while they're recovering, I can just run right by. They do turn pretty quickly while they're getting back up, though.
Leon, can you hear me?
Ada, did you find anything?
Right here.
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, I can't reach the ventilation hole. I'm going to
I've been up for nearly 18 hours, so I am going to sleep pretty well after this.
What? Ada, wait!
It'll be a well-earned rest.
Oh, if I actually get this without taking any damage, I will sleep the sleep of the righteous. So once we've gotten the club key, certain rooms are going to repopulate with liquors. The first of which is going to be this hallway that we encountered these dogs in earlier. Now, if we start running directly for the double doors, then the liquor will head us off, right? We don't want that to happen. What I want to do first is I want to go in here, and then we're going to do up, down, down, up, up. As long as 2 of the ones in the center are down, the puzzle solves itself. I'll walk here just a little bit, and then he's going to turn counterclockwise when we run behind him, if done correctly. Then we're going to run over this way, and then take this. And then the zombie's going to raise. We're just going to take a hard right. And then that allows us to get out of here pretty easy. All right, so we can see, you can see Leon actually just like looking. You see Leon just straight up looking at the enemy off screen, which is a nice little feature that they added in Resident Evil 2 as like a game balancing mechanism to be able to track the positions of enemies off screen. pick up these shotgun shells here, and normally you absolutely would not visit this room in a speed run, but I really need this submachine gun if I'm going to avoid taking any damage. And from here, we're gonna equip this submachine gun. So here's a little trick that allows you to fire at lickers from further away. If you're paying attention, whenever you run, a licker always gets up on its hind legs. And once it gets up on its hind legs, that actually causes the hitbox to jut upwards a little bit. And the submachine gun, the reason why I get the submachine gun is because it stun locks lickers. Because lickers have a very, very quick initiative to slash, and their hitboxes are absolutely massive. So running around lickers is pretty ill-advised unless you're, playing a little bit of stop-go in like a wide area. If you have like the right setups to be able to do it. Otherwise, do not recommend. I would just as soon say gun them all down, especially the super lickers in the lab. Gonna re-equip the shotgun here and go into this hallway. We're gonna try to take these guys out in like, I don't know, 3 shots maybe. Okay, I actually messed up the setup here a little bit. Yep, there's 2. Are they gonna stack up? Let me find out. Okay. Before I proceed into the next hallway, yeah, you gotta compulsively reload, because if you get caught reloading while you're in the middle of fighting zombies, you are going to get bit. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Because the distance that you have to be to decapitate has to be very close. And if you try to decapitate with an empty shotgun, then that will force the player character to manually reload. And if you are manually reloading, you are at a severe frame deficit and you're going to get bit. We're going to use the final use of the club key here. Get it out of here. And reload. And I'm going to go ahead and equip this here. And cool. Because we're going to use the submachine gun on the G Mutant. Leon's scenario is definitely the easier... Or Leon is definitely the easier character to use for the hard difficulty. Although I was just made aware that Claire actually does have some ability to deal with individual zombies in the form of the bow gun. So the bow gun on its own does like pretty mediocre damage. It's a pretty mediocre weapon in general with some like very slight homing capabilities. But apparently if you shoot zombies in the legs with the bow gun, then it like knocks them down. You gotta be very careful with this licker. You know, it might have been a little better for me to just go ahead and use the submachine gun to take him out, because I would have had enough ammo by the end of the run. Is Speedruns from the Crypt a live thing? No. This is all pre-recorded. Chat's pre-recorded.
You're not wrong.
Ecdysis is pre-recorded. This is actually like timed specifically to answer this question, because you know we're in your head here at Games Done Quick. We're actually a highly sophisticated AI. It's called ChatGDQ. The future of speedrunning. Nobody speedruns anymore.
How much time being AI?
No! Get away!
It's all a psyop. I'm going to pretend to eat pizza with fingers growing out of the back of my hand. Did you see that video actually, Ek?
No.
I'll show it to you later. It's an AI-generated pizza commercial, and it is pretty glorious.
Ben! Can you still hear me? Come on!
It's
answer.
like
Damn! I don't believe this.
everything seems kind of normal at first, you know.
Ben.
It's a boring day at school, and
Bitter irony.
all of these generic-looking 80s high school students just have facial expressions straight out of the uncanny valley.
Get that.
All up until they start eating pizza,
Him.
and they have like 3 rows of teeth, and they're just like eating the pizza with just like fingers that shouldn't exist, with appendages that shouldn't exist, until eventually their faces, their lips, their hair eventually also becomes fried chicken or pizza crust. The AI
it's a
can't tell
horror
the
game.
What
difference.
was that?
Where are you going, Ada?
To the chemical plant. I have a feeling that's where I'll find
Wasn't there a
John.
beer commercial too? An AI generated beer commercial.
Hey!
I will go look for that. I will go look for that.
Do you read me, Claire?
when I am done
We
with
now
my
have
run.
access to the back
Thank
of
you for the
parking
tip.
lot.
Got it.
I'm getting out of here and heading to the sewer. Can you meet me there?
I'm on my way.
If you're wondering if AI can render people drinking, it's exactly as good at it as it is at eating pizza. I'm sure if one Googled AI generated beer commercial, they might be able to find it. But anyhow, AI generated Will Smith eating spaghetti. That sounds absolutely delightful. So we're coming up on G Mutant here, and in the case of G Mutant, the reason why I want the submachine gun is because I want to keep him very stun locked, and I want to save all of my magnum bullets and shotgun shells for the late game. I will use precisely enough submachine gun bullets to be able to get away with this. So to start, we're going to wait for these little butt huggers here to come in range. And then we're going to just hold the fire button until he starts spitting out more butt huggers. There we are. Then we're going to run over here. And then we're just going to keep laying into him. There we go. The end. And if any butt huggers happen to grab us, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep tapping the run button over and over again to shake them off. They don't do any damage unless they reach your chest area, at which point they will begin trying to crawl into your mouth. Maybe rip out a couple of teeth, I don't know.
What was that all about? Running off like that was reckless and stupid.
So tanky, that's
Those
hard
zombies
difficulty
are
for you.
everywhere. Not to mention
But
that thing that
hard
got Ben.
difficulty is actually
I was
surprisingly
there,
well
Leon.
balanced.
I know.
Look, Ada, as an officer,
This game
it's my
definitely
job to
drew
look out
a
for
lot
you. But we're
of
not going to
inspiration
get through this
from
alive
the Alien
if we don't
franchise,
work
though.
Together, okay?
All right. We'll do this your way for now.
Is the AI made from a dead child? been drowned.
Classic.
Leon, that woman was... I have to talk to her.
So before we proceed, now that Leon's been gunned down, which by the way causes 0 damage and does not invalidate the run, I know what you're thinking. Once we gain control of Ada, we are going to unequip her handgun because it actually speeds up this cutscene by 5 seconds. Because Annette does not shoot the gun out of Ada's hand,
You're the one who was with that.
and consequently, before we resume control of Ada, Ada does not turn around and bend down to pick up the gun before we continue.
Ada Wong. I've heard that name before. Now I remember. One of the men from Chicago who came to assist the T-virus research used his girlfriend's name as his password. Ada and John, I believe. How did you know? Who are you? Annette Birkin. My husband is the man responsible for the creation of the T-virus, William Birkin. What? John's dead. He became one of those zombies. My condolences. And although I regret this, you will be joining him shortly. I won't let anyone take the G-virus away from me. G-virus? It's capable of creating the ultimate bioweapon.
I saw him get shot and ketchup goes splat. It's Metal Gear Solid ketchup.
Then that must mean the creature in the police department
As it is Metal Gear Solid ketchup, it means you didn't actually take any damage. Leon is only pretending to be unconscious.
None of this would have happened if they hadn't tried to steal his...
He's actually waiting for a zombie to roll up and eat him, at which point he's going to come around and snap its neck. That's how it works.
So those rats were the carriers of the virus. As a result of his virus-induced transmutation, William should have lost any prior memories he had as a human by now. Even worse, every G-virus bioweapon including
Let's see.
has the ability to implant embryos into other creatures and create offspring. No. Too bad.
And there you go. As you see, we just turn straight and then we are going. We are good. We can skip this, and then we can also skip the, as soon as we hear Ada scream, we can actually skip. It allows us to get back into this part of the cutscene a little quick, or this part of the cutscene a little quicker. Because the Ada screaming actually counts as a door transition, so consequently you can skip it in exactly the same way. I didn't mention this earlier, but if you mash the button to skip the door too quickly, then it actually takes a lot longer, as I will now demonstrate. So you have to actually delay the animation before you skip it. So watch this. I just skipped it immediately. And it took a lot of extra time to load in this room. We're still going to keep this submachine gun equipped because it only costs 1 bullet to kill the gator. Which is a complete non-issue boss. Man, I'll tell you what though, I'm actually looking forward to that Parasite Eve run. I miss Parasite Eve too. I miss Parasite Eve in general.
It's a neat franchise. Is it because of the crocodile?
Yeah. I mean, I can never tell the difference. But I just end up calling it wani, which is the Japanese word for alligator. Or crocodile. It's like the Japanese word doesn't distinguish between the two. So what I did there is I waited for the alligator to like wave its head to the left 3 times. And on the third one, if you press the button at exactly the right time, then the canister will drop around the time that it begins its sort of charging animation. Consequently, it will grab the canister into its mouth a little faster, allowing you to detonate it a little quicker.
Making things any easier.
So it saves about a couple of seconds if you're speedrunning.
I'll patch you up.
That is correct. Parasite Eve 2 is after this. I believe it is Amai Fox who is running. Is that correct?
Yep.
I just found out. John's dead.
What?
Never mind. Let's just get out of here. The sooner the better.
But yeah, I usually wait for what I like to call the lag frame before I skip the door, because it guarantees that it's not going to like hang while it's trying to deload the audio. So the reason why the skips actually take a long time is because of the audio. For some reason, I don't actually have any theories on why that takes a long time. But Resident Evil 2's audio streams are different from the PlayStation version because the PlayStation version of the game has music using the PlayStation's sound bank or sound fonts, kind of like a MIDI. Whereas on the other hand, all the music in the PC version of the game is all like samples, and it's not using any particular hardware. It's just all decoded by the CPU. It's just audio compression decoded by the CPU. If such a thing were done on the PlayStation, it would actually take quite a lot insofar as like resources are concerned. But that's like how music in games was rendered back in the day. It was through like sound fonts, at least until it got to the point that CD-based audio could be implemented in games. But I don't think that the audio hardware of the audio hardware of the particular time was quite as good as like playing on a real console. I could be wrong though. So as the G2 plunges its claw through the ceiling like this, we just got to ready the submachine gun and be ready to pop it. Once its claw goes all the way through, and it does like the little it's like the plunging of the claw animation. It's the claw itself is invincible, but once it starts like just trying to diddle around looking for Leon or Ada, that's when it's vulnerable, and that's when you shoot. So. I will not be grabbing the weapon box key because the custom Magnum is completely useless. We're gonna run around the corner here, and oh wow, he just like aggroed real early and went turbo. That was scary. That was scary. All right, so Ada will defend us over here, and because the zombie will just prioritize whichever character is closer. If it's Ada, then the zombie will vomit as opposed to trying to actually like grab her and bite her. I'll grab the shotgun shells and the magnum bullets here. Next, we're gonna... Oh, dang. I think, oh, I might have messed up here a little bit. It's okay. I got this. I do got this. I have a plan. Let Carsey cook, chat. Let Carsey cook. I was actually supposed to pick up an extra...
Can you hear me? Come on.
I was actually supposed to pick up an extra Magnum bullet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop down here. We got to be real careful here, though. And do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go this way because that's too close. 1, 2, and then swing and a miss. Okay. Also swing and a miss. Scary. Please, bait. Thank you. Yeah, so if you fire at exactly the right angle, okay, that should be enough. That actually went a lot better than expected. So if you fire at the camera at the right angle, then yeah, the camera breaks. It's a pretty funny little piece of fourth wall, just being able to shoot the screen.
Come on.
Ouch! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Oh God. Heck, I think I shot the audience.
These things happen to the best of us.
Well, that's it for me. I'm not going to be invited back. It's over.
Welcome back. Hey, take it easy. We're inside Umbrella's secret lab. I'll go find something to treat that wound, so just rest here in the meantime.
But I'll only slow you down with these injuries.
Just a flesh wound? Yeah, it's just, it's just rat shot.
It's my job to look after you.
But
it's just rat shot. It ain't a thing.
If you stay with me. I know I've only known you for a short period of time, but I really enjoy being with you. I know I'm not capable of caring about anyone, but I don't want to lose you.
We're leaving this place together. Wait here for me. I'll be right back.
All right, so we're gonna take these shotgun shells. I mostly wanted the shotgun here to, for the express purpose of decapitating things. I'm gonna hang to the left here. Made a save state before the fight. Good job. Unfortunately for you, because you loaded the save state and you don't actually have control of the game, it's just going to happen again and again and again. So I'm sorry about that. Kind of a mix between a speed run and a damage run. Well, it's neither. It's a smooth run. This is the year of the smooth run. You know what I'm saying?
That's every year.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much every year. I wanted to re-equip the submachine gun here. So overall, actually, keeping a gun equipped, or a two-handed gun equipped, actually makes you run, perhaps, I want to say like 2% slower, maybe? Gotta hug this left-hand wall so that we can push this ivy. Allows us to go in here pretty fast. Bam. Aw, damn. That's $50 to Black Girl's Code. I got greedy. I was kind of hoping that I might be able to snipe that one from a little further away, but I missed a shot. So, yeah, the submachine gun does, you know, stun lock lickers every time, but that's the kind of thing that happens.
It's not always the easiest staying, I guess, vigilant for the entirety of a run, especially when you can get the endgame nerves, so.
Yeah. Wasn't even really endgame nerves so much as I'm just being dumb. Alright. Take it nice and easy. Okay, that zombie is going to come in through here. So I am not going to rush. Okay, you are a little too close, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. What's that other zombie doing? It just shuffled over there. Interesting. Yeah, so another thing too is if you're speedrunning the game, you want to stay in fine HP as well, because if you drop to yellow caution, which is under 101 HP out of a maximum of 200 HP for Leon or Claire, then your foot speed decreases by about 20%, roughly. Actually, maybe more like 10%, I think. And we can just run straight by this liquor because we're not gonna fight. We're never gonna see him again. But yeah, original Resident Evil 2, you actually don't encounter Mr. X at all until the B scenarios. So, you know, people who played the original game probably didn't even know that Mr. X was even a thing, because the vast majority of players just played the A scenario and never picked up the game again because they saw the credits and that's it. Doesn't Claire move faster in Caution? In the remake, yes. But in the original game, same rules apply. Alright, so headies for these two guys. Grab the Mo disc and we are out. Slick.
You murdered my husband. I know what you're looking for.
I knocked my cable a little bit, so I'm just gonna unplug it and plug it back in.
Never take it from me. This is my husband's legacy. Now,
There.
where's that spy you were working with earlier? You know who I'm talking about.
What?
You really don't know anything, do you? You're so gullible. She's one of the operatives sent here by the agency. The only reason why she came here is to obtain the G-Virus.
That's a lie.
No, it's the truth. I discovered this when I did a background.
If I remember correctly, there was a place where I could set up for a quadruple headshot,
to get information.
but I could be wrong.
That can't be. I know her. Ada wouldn't do something like that.
If you don't want to believe it, I don't really care. You're about to die anyway. What happened?
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence
Ada would
cannot
never.
be aborted.
Right.
All
I know her.
employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Ada wouldn't do something like that.
Leon. I've been waiting for you, Leon.
What are you doing?
You know what this is about. So just hand over the G virus.
I don't believe this. Annette was right. About everything.
That's why I told you to leave without me, but you wouldn't listen. Now hand it over. Don't make me shoot you.
You can't do that. Ada! Ada! I've got you. Don't give up.
G virus. Leon. It's over. Just let me go.
Shut up. You're gonna make it.
It's too late, Leon.
もう終わるよ。
Know it.
わかるでしょ?
I promised you that we would escape. You just have to help me out here.
I really wanted to escape with me, Leon. Escape from
どこまでも。
Bye.
さようなら。
Ada! No.
そんな。
So, this is what everyone
こんなものがあるから。 Squeeze behind here, and yep. I hope I didn't. Hope I didn't butcher what I could read that badly. And make sure that we reload the shotgun here once again. And come here now. Come here now. Thank you. You gotta be very careful with these guys because this camera angle is weird. And then we'll pull this out, and I think we have enough ammo to be able to just like finish him off with the Magnum here.
Until detonation.
Something. Gopun mae desu. Alright. Ah, yasashii desu. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we got a turn over here. Yasashii nan desu kedo. Alright, and we're gonna come this way, and then yeah, we're just gonna auto aim here, and then there we are. Okay. That was a bit scary. Reload here, and then just going to jump on top of the tube here. And then we're going to angle it up so that Leon's left foot is in between these two pipes over here. And every time G4 jumps up and down, we're just going to pause. And that's it. That's it for G4. So we've taken one hit, which is not bad. Which is not bad at all. I was actually expecting to maybe take like 2 or 3 hits. All right, coming up on time. 3, 2, 1, time.
GG.
All right, so it automatically skips the ending because the ending's in FMV. And yeah, 1 hour, 51 seconds, which is, you know, not bad for this particular type of run. I definitely feel like, you know, a sub-hour run wouldn't be too difficult to achieve.
Pretty
Cool.
good, I'd say.
Well then,
one damage.
yeah, it was precisely 1 damage, just 1 damage exactly. You know.
I would say it turned out pretty well, and definitely thank you again for being able to show off RE2 Classic. Also, I was talking before before the run began, but I think this is actually the first time we may have had Leon A. Because normally we have RE2 Classic on. I think it's been Claire every time, so.
Huh.
It is neat to see the other side of it. I could be wrong, but just double checking.
Oh.
As well, before we go to our next run, Carsey, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give, or where can people find you if they wanted to watch more Carsey?
Yeah, so I do also have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/carcinogenSDA. I've been mostly streaming on YouTube for the past month, but I just decided to come back and start, you know, doing more streams. Been working on, you know, a lot of old projects that I wanted to like wrap up. I've been doing like a Final Fantasy VII Level 1 walkthrough, as well as working on a Dead Space 1 remake Impossible mode, no damage playthrough, and maybe a little bit of Resident Evil here and there. But I'm definitely thinking some more old school survival horror in the near future. And but you know, as far as like, you know, the actual like good stuff, I might recommend you check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@carcinogenSDA. As Augen Drakir just posted in the chat just now. So I have a lot of no damage playthroughs. I've done maybe like 10 different games, no save, no damage, but you know, the vast majority of them are, you know, like I've done maybe like no damage walkthroughs of almost 50 games up to this point. But I think I want to go back into, you know, speed running just because I miss that sort of thing. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. So,
all right.
Other than enjoy My Fox's run. Parasite Eve 2 is a fun speed run, if I say so myself.
It should be good. And as well, in addition to getting back to speed running, I know you do the smooth run, so it's a nice in between of the two.
Well, it is a fun way to spice things up.
All right.
Especially after running the game one way for many years. But you know, gotta keep the game interesting somehow, right?
Exactly. All right, thank you once again, Carsey. For anyone who did miss him, you can find Carcinogen SDA's links on Twitch and YouTube and really just everywhere under that name. So definitely go check him out if you want to see more horror, no damage, or no damage in general, because I know he's branched into things like Final Fantasy if you're into that. That being said, we do have one more run for you tonight. We're going to be closing out with Parasite Eve 2, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back from the break. Hope you've been enjoying tonight's show so far, and while we can't always get the full no damage on, it is nice to kind of have a bit of teeth in some of the runs we have. I always appreciate Carsey being a good sport, and that does lead to $50 to Black Girls Code as mentioned. That being said, we do have one more horror action sequel for you tonight, and we're going to be closing off with kind of a neat one. There's one part I really like about this run, but we're probably not going to see it to the end, so you might need to stick around for that if you want to find out what I'm talking about. It is a certain boss strategy. I think it's the run I'm thinking about. Anyway, to close things up, we're going to be finishing with Parasite Eve 2 with a My Fox. Take it away.
Thank you very much. So, as I said, I am My Fox. I'm going to be running the sequel to Parasite Eve 1, which is the hit game about mitochondria. And this game is a bit about neomitochondria. I'm not really sure the difference because the storylines in these games are a little convoluted, but we won't worry about that. They're fun gameplay. However, the original game was unique. This game, they saw Capcom being, very popular with Resident Evil games and decided we should copy that. So this is like a Resident Evil game with magic in it. But let's go ahead and go here. We'll start the countdown in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're playing again as Aya from the first game. A bit afterwards, and she's moved out to California and basically works with like a secret organization that hunts down the neomitochondria monsters. So to start off, we're going to actually go into our menu, change how the menu works so it always resets to the same position, as well as so auto run is on, so I don't have to hold down a button, which is a great convenience feature. Now we're just meeting one of these side characters in the game. But also, Aya in this game does not control like Resident Evil characters, how I would say they're more like on roller skates. Aya's like a snowmobile. So we actually have to go in this room and leave just to see that that's where we can buy items and weapons, or else Pierce right here doesn't spawn and we can't talk them to leave. Right now we're going to the Acropolis Tower, and there's been reports of the creatures in this are called NMCs. So we're going to try to take care of the situation. And here's actually a great example of Squaresoft at the time using FMVs for like pre-rendered backgrounds, so they can also have like the camera sweeping through rather than a completely fixed camera angle. However, this section does have forced walking, which every speedrunner loves so much. But that's the only part of the game for the most part that has that, so we just gotta bear through these few seconds, and we're gonna be running all the way through. Just skipping some introductory cutscenes, they explain the situation. We're not too worried about that. It has been a real bad day in this tower, however. As you'll see here in just a moment, they brought the SWAT in, but SWAT just couldn't handle the situation too well. I skipped that just a little too early, but we're going to skip all the cutscenes for the most part. And here's actually a cutscene that amazed me as a kid. You're not going to hear it, but that guy says freeze, and at the time, for like RPGs to have voice acting, it just really impressed me. So that always stuck with me. So next here, this guy gave us a key to the cafeteria. The game's giving us a bit more tutorial stuff, like those boxes have like infinite ammo to restock up on. But there's someone in the cafeteria we're trying to rescue. So that's where we're headed right now. Doing that movement there where I curve really tight actually makes the cutscene happen faster. This guy's not doing good, and unfortunately we're going to leave him. Similar right here, if we go left immediately, it will also trigger the next cutscene rather than running up to that girl, which we find out is actually a monster. So now we got to take care of this. It's the first boss. Pretty easy. We're going to hit it with 2 of our pyrokinesis abilities. Wait for it to kind of reel back like that, and then shoot it one more time. The boss is over. We're going to loot all the items from it. And all good to go there. Now we need to call for some backup because the situation is a little bit more crazy than they once expected. We're going to be running away from most of the battles in the game. There are some planned that we do kill just for convenience or to get what's called bounty points, and there's also XP in this game, which use XP to unlock Aya's magical powers or parasite energy powers. And the BP is used to buy like weapons and ammo from some of the people in the game. So I quickly there said, you know, we need backup, and unfortunately our boss told us it's not going to come, so you're on your own. So now we need to just continue moving throughout this place. There's some escalators we need to turn on. Another little example of FMV in the background. I'm going to grab that there, the safety item, which is just an MP drink. Now, as you notice, every time you get in a battle, the screen goes like inverted color, and then when you leave, you also get this end battle screen, which you lose some BP every time you run away. There are some battles that we want to avoid just to not get the time loss from that. However, there's a lot of RNG in this game. So even in this room, for example, for whatever reason, the rats can just not aggro you and you can grab the key and walk through the room and leave. There's just a few spots in the game where we do try to take certain lines to help, but things can happen. For example, here I'm going to take a little wider line, walk for a second, and then run. That way, I don't trigger the battle from that guy there, because even though I'm taking a moment to walk, it's a lot faster than waiting for that heartbeat and the inverted colors like right here, and then exiting the battle. So, and apparently getting stuck because this game also has, at times, very bad door triggers, like Resident Evil games. Here's a little bit of a safety item to pick up some grenade rounds, but we're actually not going to need these for quite some time. Here's an enemy that I always find a little funny in the game, how they sound. And I couldn't remember their name, so I looked it up right before the marathon to see what it was. And they're called brutes, but apparently they are part of a certain type of NMC called fatty types, which I just thought was interesting. So our friend got attacked there. We gotta go take the guy out. Normally you're supposed to use a code to raise this bridge so you don't get attacked by these little fish here that poison you, but that takes too long to raise up the bridge, so we're just gonna keep going. Also another example of RNG, you can either get bit twice there or get bit 3 times like I did, unfortunately. But you just keep moving forward, hope for the best. Now, it does put me at a little bit of a lower HP, but I may not need the heal depending on how the fight goes, but I'll probably have too many heals anyway, so we'll be safe. But what I'm going to do is take this. You have to equip items on to your armor in the game and able to use them during battle. And you also do have a limited inventory in general. So that's some of those survival horror elements. Now we're going to come across a guy named Number 9 who is attacking our partner and is antagonist throughout the game. There's a bit of an RNG fight and also potentially a run ruiner. Also, there's a few enemies in the game that have one-shot mechanics, this guy being one of them, so we definitely have to hope that doesn't happen, but we're going to bait out that attack. Wait, he's going to charge. We're going to shoot that. Does some nice damage to him. We'll move on over to the next area. Get him with that as well. Go for some extra shots. Run down here. And we're basically using those objects in the environment to try to do the most damage. Here we're just kind of waiting for him to eventually get over here. But he is having fun shooting these. Alright, and then if we shoot that pipe with the electric thing, it does more damage. As well as you see here, I'm aiming off to the right. That actually caused him to take more damage from our pyroblast. Alright, and we got him without taking a hit, as well as he didn't use his insta-kill ability because he could light his sword on fire and then flash his eye and game over. So definitely can be a bit of a reset point in the speed run. That was actually a really good fight that I had. So super glad about that. We resolved everything. Now we're back here. Our boss wants us to investigate everything, but if you actually look at the map and then exit back out, that satisfies him. So we're good there. We can come back here, buy some items, but we don't need that. We're just going to continue on our way to the next part of the game, which is where the majority of the game takes place, which we're going out to the Mojave Desert, to a nice little town called Dryfield that has a very monotonous soundtrack, but it's soothing as well. But right here to start off, I'm going to grab this ammo just to be safe. May not need it, but I'd rather be safe than run out of ammo potentially if things go horribly wrong. Now we get introduced to a new enemy in the game called Chasers. They're like horse camel things, and they can run into the wall, which is a really cool feature. And just hilarious when it happens. However, if they do hit depending on how far they were, they do more damage, and they can knock her to the ground. So we definitely want to avoid them as much as possible. Of course, there was a sign on the door that said no trespassing, so I just barged right in. But we need to do a slight puzzle to get through this shutter here, which involves moving a car, because apparently we can't slide around it. More cutscenes that we're just going to go ahead and skip, because nobody cares about a car just turning. While we're here, we're going to turn on this to unlock the shutter gate, and then, or I guess this is also a shutter in the game too, but unlock that gate. And then we have to come back here, turn the car once again, that way I can apparently open the shutter fully to get to the next room where we meet our good friend, Mr. Douglas, which is one of the primary side characters throughout the game. He also has a doggy that we'll meet eventually. But for now, we're just trying to get some more information about what's going on. So he gives us a room key so we can kind of chill. So that's what we're heading over to now. Now, how I mentioned earlier that we do try to take some lines to avoid battles. This is actually a good example right here. I'm going to take a very wide line, even though I'm going over here into this gate, because if I did take a more direct line, a whole bunch of scorpion enemies actually spawn from the ground. So definitely just want to take advantage of those couple seconds that don't go wasted. Yeah, these guys look funny. You probably can't tell right now, but they have weird bowl haircuts. Just throwing that out there. But here's Aya's room, which we're just going to immediately run through because we have to save someone that is stuck up on this tower. I think there's a bit of a Tremors reference up here as well, which is great. But of course, we got to deal with some chasers. So hopefully I can take a good line here. No. Trying to hit them before that happens. Oh, you're being mean. Thank you. Because you can hit them both at the same time, but things don't always happen. That one can just easily always mess it up for you, so it's not too big of a deal. This next part, you kind of have to like prepare for the dodge before the camera angle change, which I don't know if I did that. Nah, I didn't. This is where Aya's movement hurts so much in the game. So we have to kill a certain amount of these before the battle ends. But it's basically a matter of shooting a little bit, using our pyro ability, and kind of just waiting out, which that's there we go. Yeah, ran out of MP because of that. So what I'm going to do here is actually they drop a heal, so I'm actually just going to use that in the menu. Just saves a bit of time from having to actually go into the menu and heal. So there's times where we'll either heal from the battle results screen or we'll heal with items on our belt during a battle. Now here's a Trevor's reference because this dude was stuck up here trying to survive from the chases, and I guess eventually he did not make it, unfortunately. He was the owner of this, I believe, the motel. So we stole his key so we can get into the bar over here to get some items we need, where we're going to see some good old placement. Interestingly enough, and randomly, this game has a Coke product placement. So right here, first thing, we're getting a little Coca-Cola magnet, which will help us get another item. And in true Resident Evil fashion or survival horror fashion, it's we got a key to get an item to get another key. So that's great. There's another example where I want to take a wide line because if I get too close to the gate, those scorpions will spawn again. Now, there's a chaser that jumps down here. Nah, I don't need anything, we're good. I'm going to try to move to the side of him for this. Alright, we're good. My pyro has to do at least 71 damage to knock him down. If not, then he will just charge Aya and hit her, and it's quite a large time loss, as well as you don't want to take damage. Here we're using that magnet to annoyingly try to move this up here. Oh no. Oh god. Why did I do that? That's actually a first. There we go. So that's the key we need just to open up this door. Just to get back into this garage. Because Mr. Douglas, I believe he is missing one of his legs. So he didn't have his prosthetic on at the time, so that's why we had to come and unlock the door ourselves. But there's his dog, Flint. He's a great boy. You can pet him if you do the good ending, which unfortunately we're not, but we won't think about that. Alright, so Mr. Douglas loves guns. We'll eventually buy some from him, just not right now. During that conversation, Aya hears a scream, so she wants to go investigate it. So, first of all, we need to take a weird way because of how everything's locked up. So, I need this rope right here. And it's going to spawn some scorpions. And one day, I hope magically someone figures out how to get into that door before the scorpions spawn, but I don't think you can. So we're going to kill these enemies here now that it's a bit more of a opportune placement for them. Alright, cool. just for a little bit of XP and bounty points. And so they don't bother us anymore as we come back through. And good old Flint here is being nice and leading us through everything. So here's where we're using the rope because we're going to go down to the sewers. It's a lovely place. And we get to experience a new mini-boss here in the next room. These are bad still, and we don't have to worry about them. We're just going to run past them. But this enemy is called a stalker, and they are able to become invisible. So we're going to do a little bit of a loop-de-loop kind of move. I'm not really sure, but we curve up and to the left and go up and right and then up and left, and there's all kinds of interesting movement. And to dodge that, that does quite a decent amount of damage, so you definitely don't want to get hit by them. And just going to run past him. Now, we do need to kill the enemies in this next room for a certain item they drop, which will come to play a little bit later on in the run as well. So, going to run forward, use pyro. Hopefully they all explode except for that one. We'll manually aim at him and kill him. So they drop that small box. That'll come to play later. We also grab a Coke can because we may get thirsty. What the Coke can does is, I believe, it restores like 20 HP and like 80 MP. I'm going to try to get into this door but without waking that horse. Thank God. And there's this lady screaming who we're trying to save. That is also the scream from Spider-Man 1, the movie, that the Green Goblin uses. Just a random back to battle stock sound they both share. So now that dresser was bolted to the wall, but it seems like there's something hidden behind it. We don't have the tools to do that, so we got to go run back to Mr. Douglas here. So a little bit of a backtrack. Got some more sleeping horses here. As long as we don't get too close to them, they'll continue to sleep, and we don't have to deal with going into a battle. But yeah, I would say there's a lot of chill parts like this where we're kind of just running back and forth in the run. So that is one part that can be, I guess, a bit confusing when first trying to learn the run. Just trying to like keep track of, wait, am I coming through here at this part of the game? Like, what exactly am I doing? Especially a little bit later when we get into the lab section, which every survival horror game does need a lab. So here's Mr. Douglas. We gotta actually like deal with skipping his dialogue because it doesn't turn into a cutscene here. But basically, he says, I wish I didn't have to open that for whatever reason. And you can take some tools from my garage. So we gotta go get a monkey wrench in order to take these bolts off. And just minor like things you can do here to like help the movement. Is there's a little barrel right there, so we'll come around, grab the monkey wrench, which Aya, for whatever reason, says, I hope Mr. Douglas won't mind when he literally just said, go take something. But we kind of circle around that barrel just to try to go to the room every little bit faster. Now, great thing is we don't have to go through the sewer again since we opened or unlocked the front of the convenience store. So that's a nice little bit of a shortcut, and we don't have to deal with dodging that stalker enemy from earlier. And horse is still sleeping, thankfully, so we can just run past them. And we're actually about to get into the next boss fight of the game as well. Kind of switch over to the nighttime version of this town. Thankfully, I was able to skip that horse aggroing. So first thing is we're going to level up our pyrokinesis to level 2. Then I'm just going to go ahead and use a couple things. Put a heal there, then going to put this small box for later on my inventory. And then we're going to use that monkey wrench. Skip a bit of a cutscene, deal with the screams getting louder. And unfortunately, this lady passes away, or she was an enemy or something. But we're not hurt. We're going to spin around him, use pyro, kind of move a little bit. All right. And the reason I'm going behind him is if you hit him from like the side or the front, he takes almost no damage from the pyro, and that is the end of the fight. So yeah, you just have to keep circling around him. In the case that you, I did mess up and kept like hitting him on the side, I had a MP bottle on my inventory, so I could just cast additional pyros. But outside of that, that boss is pretty easy. Now we get another side character we saved earlier, which is Kyle. And here was another section where I could have avoided a battle, but the RNG had the scorpion already looking in the direction I was going to walk, so unfortunately we got forced into that. Now, Kyle's going to help us in this next situation, potentially. His AI is super RNG, and he can either become an absolute beast or stand there and his hand shakes the whole time. So we're going to see what he's going to do. So far, he missed. Okay, oh, there we go. Go Kyle. If we stand right here, we can kill both of these at the same time. Actually, that ain't fast enough. That's probably because Kyle actually one-shot one. That explains it. All right, gonna take a few things out of my car, which I wanted to do during the battle, but I didn't expect Kyle to go so crazy, because I said there's plenty of times he normally just stands there and watches you. All right, but now that we unfortunately slept throughout the day, we need to go back to Mr. Douglas, make sure everything's all right, because it seems more enemies have shown up in the area. Now remember that like small box I got? Wait, apparently I wasn't on it. This is what it's for, so we can kill these bats real quick. So, random item we picked up just for this one single battle, just because it kills them all instantly. Because if they attack you, I like flails around and it just wastes a lot of time. Another few battles we can avoid, just if you like keep tight to the walls there. So here's like little mini versions of the stalker enemy we dealt with earlier. And I'd also like to mention how when they walk, they sound like ducks, so I just always call them ducks personally. I think it's just hilarious the way they sound. So Mr. Douglas almost shot us, but then he was cool. We actually need to steal his car, but it doesn't have any gasoline, so we got to do a few things. So he's going to give us a key, and this is another great situation where we get to use a key or to get another key, to get another item. So a little bit of backtracking here to an area we haven't exactly been to. Avoiding a few more battles like usual. If I can get into this door fast enough, it doesn't trigger a battle. Cool. Always like that. Yeah, because I believe it's about 3 to 4 seconds per battle you end up triggering. Over the course of a run in those like areas, it definitely can add up. Now, can't avoid this battle, but if things work out right, the horse is going to run into the wall. So that's just... He ran into the column. That's still good. That's so good. There's no reason for that, but it's always better when they just run into the walls. Alright, so that key gave us is going to open a lobby key. There's a slight puzzle in here that deals with some ages or birthdays or something. I can't exactly remember how it goes. I just know what the answer is, of course. But, you know, if you ever play it casually, you don't want to get the fun of the puzzle solving spoiled anyways. So that is going to give us the key to use in a room up here. There's a couple stalker enemies here. We're just going to kill them real quick with some pyroblast. Takes 2 each, but you can just spam past it, and there's no worries. And I said these are just a bit, these battles, like we could run past them, but some of these are pre-planned out to have a certain amount of XP or BP to use. So what we need is right here, which is a jerry can, which I found out is what a gasoline can is called when it does not have gasoline in it. So these guys are mad that we broke in. Unfortunately, I got hit there. You can't avoid it, but as you see, you have to slide in between the wall and the enemy, so it's easy to get hit. But not too big of a deal. We're not too worried about that. I can take a bit of damage. And in a moment here, we're going to get a full heal anyways. So now we got to get some gasoline. As I said, we need the truck needs some gasoline, and Mr. Douglas is working on it. There's another line we take just to avoid some battles. Now here, there's another 2 stalkers. I'm going to try to take a line to, in a sense, bait them to go a certain way, in hopes that I can hit them both at the same time with pyros. Oh, you're going to be mean. Thank you, sir. And we'll be safe out here. I'm going to have an overabundance of heals too, so that was mean. I think I'm too far from the gas tank. But that area can often go really wrong, especially those guys can like jump on Aya and like do like a hugging attack that does a ton of damage, so I'm glad at least that didn't happen. But being able to group them up there helps, especially because I don't believe you have enough MP to cast the 4 pyros it would take to kill them individually. But now that we have the gas tank, we're going to go back to Mr. Douglas, who is finishing up working on the car. I have to buy a few things from him. And then that's going to set us up for the next boss fight. I'll talk to him, just get a cutscene. We need to buy this good old grenade pistol, as well as many grenades as we can afford. And now we're going to head back to our room to rest up. There's a fun dodge here. The reason I ended up healing was because if I messed up this dodge, these enemies do 30 HP damage, and I had 28 HP. But what you want to do is run forward. After the camera angle change, you'll hear the charge, and you move left and right a little bit, and should not get hit. And we can slide past this little guy most of the time. If we did get hit, sucks about the time loss, but not a big deal because we're about to get healed anyways right here. So we need to prepare. I'm going to get Necrosis, which is a damage over time ability, and Energy Shot, which makes my guns hit for more. I'm just going to kind of equip a few things to our belt to prepare for this, and a few other bottles as well. Or battles, I think I said bottles. I'm going to sort my inventory, and we're going to equip the grenade pistol and take a nap, which then unfortunately skips a certain scene that I'm sure people want to see, but you know, there's a speed run, so we have to skip cutscenes. Just the nature of the game. But this triggers a boss fight of an elephant-like monster. So I got bad RNG on the start here because he uses that flame attack. Nothing I can really do. But that's okay. And we're just gonna hit him with grenades kind of non-stop. When he loses a bit of color, actually, I'm gonna hit that a bit early. We cast that Necrosis ability because it also has a bit of a stun effect. I'm gonna kind of time this a little bit just to interrupt him. Use that one more time, make it hit, no big deal. So it may seem a little scary at times with how low my HP is, but I kid you not, you can take just enough flame hits to get down to 2 HP, and then I'll need to heal for sure. But for now, no worries. I can just play a little bit of riskiness for fun, which there goes that 2 HP that I want to play risky with. But no big deal. Heal up. He's not going to use any abilities fast enough to actually kill you there. So we'll just continue pelting him with some grenades. He's going to hit us every so often. It's not a big deal. But there we go. He's dead now. So that's nice. He screams. This is, I don't know why this enemy sounds like that, but he very unique boss design with a flamethrower in its mouth. Also in this boss, if you take too long, wait a second, just boss so loud. But if you take too long, the boss actually will leave, but in the process of leaving, the boss will kill Flint the dog, so we don't want that at all. I use that capsule right there. It gives us a full heal. As well, it increases our max HP by 5, so that's why I also wasn't too worried about the boss, because I didn't end up using that heal either way afterwards. But we still need to get Mr. Douglas's car so we can head off to a place called the Shelter, where the rest of the game is going to be taking place. Dryfield is a little bit messed up, though, after that cat. So we have to go back through the sewers to get to the garage area, because things have caved in. Here's another moment where we can get lucky and maybe a battle won't trigger. Maybe I can walk behind the scorpion a certain way, but it's, oh yeah, it should be good. So you can walk past him and even push him around. As long as you don't go in front of him, he doesn't notice you're there. So here we step back, wait for the slash, then move forward and continue to run, because we don't want to deal with this guy, and that does a lot of damage. The brute enemies we saw earlier, for some odd reason, are in this sewer now. I don't know how they got here, but they're always funny. They're playing with the water or something. We're not going to worry about them too much right now. So our friend Kyle is going to be meeting us up here and partnering up with us to head to the shelter. It'll also be when we swap over to Disc 2. I do need to momentarily switch over to our handgun again. And this next part is super exciting, because if I mess up, we die. So, you know, hope for the best, but that's why we also have saved worst case scenario. All right, changing that disc. Yay. All right, so right off the bat, Kyle gets injured and is useless, so we gotta save him. Quite unfortunate, but I mean, he's been kind of useless the whole time. So, I'll actually shoot you. So we gotta leave them off the cliff like that. But as I said, if I get hit, then Aya gets knocked off the cliff and it's game over. So right here, that's kind of a bad setup, so I'm just going to go ahead and use Pyro on him. But a lot of baiting and hoping you don't mess up. The ones from all the way are no big deal. This is easy. It's when the ones that come over here on the side of the truck that things get a little bit more scary. But that's why I prefer to just use the arrows on those. And it should almost be done here in just a moment. Really? Thank y'all so much for that. Alright, that was unfortunate RNG and how they went about that, but no worries. Alright, don't need any of those items, and all the horses were able to restart MP fully, so. Unfortunately, it seems we kill the horse creatures the most amount compared to any enemies in the game, so. Sorry, any horse fans. It's not, I don't hate you guys, I swear. Alright, here's another enemy that has been around, but we haven't actually encountered. They're like little rabbit dudes, and they usually just kind of do little front somersaults, but they can grab you and do quite a bit of damage, and it just Aya sits there and keeps trying to kick them off, so we really don't want that to happen, but it's kind of just RNG if they actually decide to do that move, and then it actually connects. So we're kind of just going to run through them and hope for the best, and should dodge everything. Now, there's a bit of a hole in that bridge, so we need something to get across it. So somehow I know there's something over here, but it's being blocked by this mining cart. So we gotta let that go down and crash. And look, we found a board. Now the real question is, where did that board just go? I don't know, RPG inventory. But we're going to use that in order to cross the bridge so we can find out where Kyle has gone off to. Yeah, they do kind of look like gremlins. So, a bit more running, but up here we're going to prepare for the next boss fight, which has absolutely horrendous RNG and is a gigantic run killer. So, can't wait to see how this goes. You just kind of have to deal with how the fight goes. But I'm going to get plasma for actually a fight afterwards, and we're going to level up our energy shot to level 2. I'm going to go ahead and equip the grenade launcher, use these air burst rounds. Should be good. Is that MP boost? Yeah. Alright. So, using that board, it's going to aggro some bats, but we'll just run past, no worries here. Got to go in this room first to do a nice little electrical puzzle, and so we can even open that gate in the first place. Oh, and just to point out, the way this game does saves is telephone, so neat little modern take or a different take as opposed to typewriters. So now we unlock the gates, and we can deal with the wonderful next boss fight of the Blizzard Chaser. It's one of the really big horses. So to start off, I'm going to shoot it with a Pyroblast. And then I'm going to run over here and hope it runs. Thank you for being nice. So that was actually one of the first phases of the boss, which he was nice there and did what I wanted him to. But now we actually got to deal with the real part of the boss. So I'm going to start off casting Energy Shot. Kind of hope he does that so I can shoot that. Hit him with Necrosis for a little extra damage. We want to cast another Energy Shot because that actually stacks. And now it's kind of hope the boss, is nice to us, which obviously that wasn't a very nice thing to do. Alright. Really? And now there's the bad RNG. Sometimes the boss will go to the other side of the arena and just chill there until you hit him. this is... Nah. So, we're trying to use these barrels because they do a lot more damage, but the boss is being mean, of course. And I don't blame him. He probably does not want to die. There we go. Nice. Actually did more damage than I planned on. Because now my grenade launcher is empty. Because normally we would still have to shoot one more grenade, and to do that I'd switch over to that other ammo I equipped on my belt. But we'll just do that right now. Or I won't. I'll just do it in the room because apparently the bats disagree. Alright, cool. Normally your gun will auto-reload, but in that situation I had different ammo types and the other type ran out. So the puzzle changed up a little bit, so we got to move the plugs around in just a different manner. Nothing too complicated. And that will let us open up that it's like a boulder that the motorcycle somehow opens up. I'm not sure on the exact logistics. But that will get us into the lab section of the game, and where for the most part the rest of the game takes place, minus like a little bit of a subsection. Now, of course, we just faced a boss, but they're going to throw a mini-boss at us. So I have to do another one of those stalker enemies. So I'm going to start off with an energy shot, raise my weapon, then immediately cast plasma to knock him down, shoot him with a grenade launcher a few times. He's like stuck right now trying to flip upside down. And now we're going to finish him off with some pyros, or he's going to do that. That was surprising. I've never seen that happen. I didn't even know that was a move, to tell you the truth. So, no big deal there. That I got the majority of the damage off, and he just needed that one pyro to die. But he actually gives us an ammo type that we're going to use on a boss probably like 20 minutes from now. So they're just little things throughout the run where it's like we kill an enemy because they have an item that we're going to use later on. So this is called the shelter, and it's kind of where they've been developing all these creatures. We're just kind of run through here, trying to dodge the lasers that are shooting those rats. And this game does have friendly fire with most enemies' abilities. So it'll be fun sometimes getting other enemies to hit each other. But a lot of avoiding battles because this place has been overtaken. This dodge right here, you would think you'd go in between them, but you actually want to walk over that one on the wall. So even though Aya is literally walking in it, it doesn't hit you, but if you walk between them, it somehow hits you. It's very weird hitboxes. And we will be safe here because I don't trust this dude. Okay, cool. He can just choose to grab you and do a lot of damage, and yeah, I'd rather heal before and not risk it. Alright, gonna avoid that guy, go into our sterilization room, which I don't think even works anymore. Random text that we just have to skip in order to get through the door. But after we run through a few more rooms and skip a lot more battles, we can have another boss fight that has 2 different phases and also can instantly kill Aya. So those are always fun parts during a speed run. But for the most part, you should be good. Hopefully, I can get that now. Sometimes you can get those turrets to shoot the little big guy there, and it's just funny the sound he makes. So we get introduced to a new enemy, that another hilarious sound they make. So just enjoy that ooh. But we're not gonna kill them, we're just gonna run past them. We got other things to do. I can't remember if there is actual much direction on what we're looking for in here, but we're basically trying to just explore the place and figure out what's going on. This is like a breeding room where they experimented on a lot of animals. There's really some like grotesque descriptions on some of the cages. So definitely interesting. Here, there's a doctor that volunteered to get tested on that comes through the roof and gut punches Aya, but we have to skip the cutscene. Thankfully, does not hurt us. And now somehow all these little, I guess like caterpillar things spawn in here. But we're gonna run past them. They're actually quite annoying to deal with casually because they can inflict darkness on Aya. And with that, you can't use the lock-on system for aiming. So, definitely annoying enemies to deal with. But in the speedrun, every time we see them, we're just going to run past them, so not a big deal at all. Now, that doctor has said he went up into the ceiling, so I is going to try and go back upstairs to find out where he went. However, someone is going to lock her into the sterilization room. We have to take a bit of a detour. So we're going to this item box, stealing these grenades, as well as dropping off items we don't need anymore, like our old pistol, the GPS that I never cared about, and just going to organize the inventory a little bit. Yeah, should be good. Alright, so it said they try to kill us with whatever the sterilization is, and if you stay in this room, you slowly get, like, poisoned. So, want to move through there a bit fast, and we are taking the garbage chute in order to escape. And now we're about to face Lutton, who is a mutated gorilla. So, starting off, we need to cast Energy Shot while spinning around. Trying to shoot the grenades in Glutton's mouth, because that's a weak point. Unfortunate, sometimes that doesn't hit. It's really tight timing. But, no worries. Gonna cast another Energy Shot here. Wait a moment. And she's gonna start doing the suck move again. I'm gonna just shoot some grenades in there. If I get lucky, the grenade will do enough damage, which it didn't, but no big deal. We just have to do one more round of this. And that should be good. However, I did say this was a multi-phase fight, so that is only the beginning. And follow that. I don't need those rifle rounds. And gonna head through here where the boss is gonna immediately come through again. And very similar fight as before. What we are gonna do just to start off is immediately switch screens or camera angles, which will make her stop doing that sucking attack and push us until we get to around here. And now we're gonna try to hope she'll do this sucking attack and not that green mist. There we go. So when she kind of hunches down like that, that's how you know she will do this attack. And as I said before, this is an attack where if you are too close to her mouth, she will instantly kill Aya. Alright, so I'm going to dodge that attack. Getting hit with that does a lot of damage, but also inflicts you with Berserker, which will cause you to do more damage. But I'm a little bit low on heals, and the boss is almost dead, so not really much of a point. I stepped on that platform that raises this elevator, but now we're just kind of waiting for the boss to use the suck attack. But she should be done soon. Yep, there we go. So, long animation of her falling apart. So, not too big of a deal that I'm waiting for the elevator anyways. And even then, we can't leave the room until all that's over anyways, so just kind of waiting here. But now that the battle is over, a warning lets us know that the room's going to be incinerated, so we need to get out. And Kyle shows back up again, and it's here to save the day. So now we're in, I guess, the sewer section of the lab. I need to get back up, so Kyle's here again to potentially mess us up like usual. He can sometimes aggro these enemies to start up a battle, but most of the time he should just stand over there and do nothing. Yeah, Kyle can do a lot of time lost in the run for no reason. I'm going to try to step on this enemy's head to make it explode like that, or else it actually will explode and hurt Aya, rather than kind of like inflate like a balloon or something. And then we just dodge that enemy. Now, while I'm solving this puzzle to lower the water, I have to hope that Kyle doesn't kill the enemy, because it's technically a time loss. And the solution to this involves counting a certain amount of insects' legs. I can't remember exactly. There's a note that says which insects it is, but the solution ends up being 18. So yeah, Kyle's shooting that. Definitely hope he doesn't kill it. Alright, we're good, because if he did kill it, Aya has to reload her gun even though I didn't shoot, and then she'll put down her gun, and then the battle ends, and then we can go through the door. So it's just slower overall. Take a little force damage from that enemy, but not too big of a deal. And we're gonna slowly walk up the stairs. And actually, when I was practicing earlier, for like the first time, Kyle ended up killing that enemy in there. I've never had that happen before, so that was also interesting, but usually he just stands there and does nothing like he currently is. I love these dudes. Just the noises they make is always amazing. Alright, so here is where we have an elevator to get back up into the lab area, as well as Kyle has found a card that we can use. So just gotta skip some cutscenes here. This card will allow us access to another part of the facility. Gotta do some wonderful backtracking. This is actually gonna help us get through the door where I had took a gut punch earlier. That's it. Kind of just walking throughout the facility, dodging enemies now. We have this as a bit of an upgraded version of the Bruce from earlier. They're a little bit stronger, as well as they have a black mist they can shoot around them that gives you darkness. So, and there it is. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, mister. So normally he goes for a swipe attack that doesn't hit, but in this case he decided to use that move, unfortunately, so gotta take some damage, but no biggie. We're still good in regards to that. Oh wait, I just realized something. I've done this before. Ignore me. I definitely went the wrong way. I went on autopilot because we're coming here literally right afterwards, and there's one extra room we gotta take. So we'll act like that didn't happen, and I didn't end up taking damage for no reason. But no big deal. It's right around the corner here. Oh look, he was nice this time and decided not to damage me. So definitely appreciating that. So yes, we have to go back to this breeding room, which we go through here and then go through a room that pops back out into that same hallway. So that's part where I mentioned in the run, it can get a little weird and confusing with backtracking because you're just going through the same hallways, but coming through like 3 different doors and unlocking them slowly one at a time. Here we can just kind of hug the wall to avoid all the enemies most of the time. And here's another situation where step on a poor enemy's head. Really unfortunate, but what can you do? I need to grab an item out of this coat. Probably gonna get hit here. Figured I would. That's the RNG, just depending on how fast the enemy decides to attack. So we need to use this terminal here, but it's been infected with a worm. So we need to solve it with this long string that is kind of based on the words in the background. And I believe it's just taking, there's a whole guide that has how you solve it, involves, I think, like the amount of times the letter is used, something like that. But that'll let us use this visitor program where we got to answer some questions about this game or stuff about the previous game. It's a set amount of answers that it can cycle through, but you need to just get 3 of them right. Now Kyle told us that he found some security system and he wants us to come hang out with him. So that said, see, we're popping back out into this corridor again. Definitely not easy, you know, to get confused about going through all these corridors and everything looking the same, especially because there's a first and second floor with identical layouts. No biggie. See, he could have done that earlier, and I wouldn't have to even show up with missed attack, but he wanted to hurt me instead. But now we go this way. And don't get stuck on walls, hopefully. But IO's control in this game is nowhere near as smooth as Resident Evil games. Here I'm going to try to walk in order to get through the door without aggroing those guys. Which we did, thankfully. There's a cutscene. We see a big angry thing. We're not worried about that for now. It does end up being one of the last bosses later on now. So we have to do a few things with these monitors. We're unlocking this door, which will be used way later on in the game. And I have to comment how these are touch buttons for each different one. Making a lift get turned on. And as well turning off these security turrets, which will come in handy in a couple boss fights coming up, which I actually found out an interesting strat, which I'll elaborate on later. But one time in a speedrun, I forgot to turn those off and had to do some crazier maneuvers that allowed me to find like a one-shot on a boss. So we'll get to that a bit later, but funny how that ended up happening. So now we're going into the Neo Arc, which is kind of like a museum type area. Super weird and abrupt change to the game setting, but I think it's cool. Oh, and also Kyle out of nowhere has a grenade launcher. So he doesn't do anything useful with it once again, but he has a grenade launcher, so that's definitely cool. All right. So, just some cutscenes to skip, some satellites and other things that we're not too worried about. That said, this is where we're in the Neo Arc, which I believe was like advertised in the game as like a place that people can basically like ascend to like higher life forms or something. But it's like kind of like a museum setup. It's very out of place. Got some random organ music coming out of nowhere. But we take some time here before we kind of go back into the labs. But definitely a neat place. In case you missed the horses, they are back. We're just gonna run around him. All right, so we have a nice little sliding puzzle coming up right here. One of those you don't want to blink unless I mess up, upon which you should probably blink excessively. But here we go. Hey, we did it without messing up. Nice. That took a while to learn. I just had to like put a video in slow motion on YouTube, like memorize it one step at a time. But here's another, I guess, boss fight, and bunny ears, not really, but these are generating like a force field to an area, so we need to kill them. They have little control panels back here that give them like a shield and heal them. And this which is I don't saw that. So do that. I just being mean, please. With one shots, I'm cool. But it's, you know, technically it's a boss, but since we turned off the turrets, they don't attack you, so nothing really happens in this fight. But after doing that, we can now head over an area to fight another one of those similar creatures. For some odd reason, the horses are gone and replaced with these beetles, which are absolutely horrendous enemies. And I was able to dodge them, but they just like jump backwards at Aya and will hit her, and that it's an unneeded battle and unneeded damage. So glad I was able to get past those guys. We do have to deal with them a couple more times, unfortunately, in different areas. And that was a cutscene to let us know that we triggered a fire alert. But I guess shooting a grenade launcher will do that. But we have more fires to cause, unfortunately, for this place. So we're about to head to a pyramid, which is has a nice little puzzle as well that has some hints thrown about, but I know some people that memorize the color combination that you're supposed to walk over these tiles, or they also make some interesting sound effects. Some people basically sing it as a song, the sound effects, and that's how they remember where to go. So, should be fun. Here's another new enemy type. Not too much of a big deal. They can charge you and do about 30 damage, but we should be fine. He's probably gonna do a jump. Yeah, but can't jump far enough. We're just gonna keep running. There's some beetles here. They may provide me a path. They may stand in the way. Guess we'll find out. They're staying in the way. Something magical. I was able to walk between them. That is amazing. Usually I would get hit by them in that type of setup. So here we go. Got to run over some tiles in a certain order while they make these amazing sounds. And this will help us unlock another area, which leads to that next boss fight. And this actually has two different solutions. I will open up another area for an optional item, but we do not need that. All right, beetles have magically disappeared. Now we're getting caterpillars, which unfortunately hurt me a little bit, but no biggie. We don't need to exactly heal just yet. And we usually will have opportunities to heal. But we're about to go into another similar boss fight in Bunny Ears as the one we previously did, where it just kind of stands there and gets killed. We did unlock this little submarine tunnel, which plays a cutscene for the little dudes that say, "Ooh," again, almost like it introduces them again. It's kind of weird and feels out of place because we've already been introduced to the creatures and they don't attack you in this little enclosure, but well, no big deal. We'll just go along with it and continue through this. Let's say it's very interesting setup for what's going on in this whole place. Got pyramids, rainforests. So should be able to just run past these dudes. Thankfully, he didn't use the mist. He actually went for a swipe when I was already like halfway across the screen. So interesting. Walk behind him. I almost thought he was going to hit me there. And I just memed myself, and there's a plaque right next to the door that is very easy to trigger. And rather than opening the door, I had to read through that plaque. Alright, so this is where I mentioned earlier where I forgot to turn off the turrets. What happens is they constantly try to shoot you here. So, start off, we do need 2 energy shots, but I had to kind of plan on what to do. So I was running around all crazy like, and eventually I came to this spot when they stopped shooting me, and if I have this right, the boss actually only takes 1 grenade to die instead of 2 grenades. It's basically a pixel perfect spot right there, but if you don't get on that spot, the grenade only does about 300 damage, so it requires 2. Or like 1 grenade and a pyroblast. So just an interesting thing on, for whatever reason, I don't know why it will always crit there. But it's interesting, just the things that you find out on accident. As far as I know, no one else has mentioned seeing that before. But now that we have killed both of those their generators, it's going to allow us access into another part of the lab area, so we're going to go back there. But this is not the last we have seen of Neo Arc. And the game loves to backtrack to previous areas, so we'll be back here. We got some more of those lovely beetle friends right here. I would say high chance that they hit you, but we can slide along the right, and we had good RNG. They did not. Nope, I lied. That's why I hate the Beatles. Because of stuff like that. But okay. We need to heal anyway, so I can use the battle screen as an opportunity to heal rather than having to go into my menu afterwards. But that's what I mean by those beetles are awful, because they would just randomly jump and hit Aya and then start up a battle that you weren't trying to deal with. So right here we are going to skip the cutscene, but it basically shows that number 9 is still alive after our previous encounter in Dryfield, and he is unleashing basically additional creatures like what he currently is. Maybe like some kind of like clones, or I can't remember exact lore. But so they're going to be populating the area soon here in just a moment, and they can be a bit tough normally in the game, but we're going to be avoiding them all. And coming up to another boss fight here in a moment. Just have to listen to some good old bass real quick before we can take this elevator down. Another interesting fact, this is the only part in the game where you can go through your Parasite menu, and the game freezes technically, but since the background is a B that has to play out, it continues. But if I were to go into my pause menu for like my inventory, then it pauses. It's only the Parasite menu that doesn't fully pause the game, and it's just the only place I know where that happens that way. So I'm going to use Pyro here. So I just switched over to have it, I guess, automatically there. So there's a little girl we just found. She's another little side character that's kind of like a clone of us or something to that effect. But she's being mind controlled. Here, we need to upgrade our energy shot to level 3. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to identify items before you use them the first time. And we throw some heals on here. That should be good. And we need to use this pistol as well as those rounds that we got earlier. And we are good. Alright, so this boss is gonna be a bit of an annoyance, but yeah, maybe that's cool. Just want to make sure. We have to get over here. You don't want to get too close or the boss can just basically slap you to the ground. But we're casting energy shot and then a plasma to knock back the boss and that girl because she gives him a defense buff. Stacking up those 2 energy shots for the additional damage debuff. Throwing a Crisis on him, which I unfortunately missed because of bad RNG, but not too big of a deal. Now we're going to drink this Eau de Toilette, which gives us the Berserker status, which makes us do a lot more damage at the cost of every time we shoot. It removes about, I believe, 2 HP, but I think it's dependent on what kind of weapon you're using. So I'm just going to do this until the fight is over. I got lucky because that girl can keep casting a defense buff on the enemy, and then I have to use plasma to interrupt it, which takes more HP as well. So definitely got lucky there that we're just able to shoot the whole way through. Now we're answering a phone, but no one's even talking. And gotta talk to Kyle. He wants to know who's on the phone, but we don't know either. We go out here and all of a sudden we are under attack. And the room is filling up with some poisonous gas. We're looking inside here. That's a clone of Aya and this girl who is Eve. We need to get her out of this room because it'll start killing her. She has definitely ruined some runs for me before. I'm just gonna grab that extra heal to be safe. But hopefully she decides to follow me. Yeah, there we go, nice. She can decide to stand there and then she'll cough and take damage and potentially cough and take damage and just keep going over and over until she dies. So thankfully she followed me. But I have had a run before where he legitimately just stood there the whole time until she died. And when you're over an hour into a run in, it definitely is sad. It's definitely sad. But now we've noticed that a lot of the creatures here aren't exactly dead, but almost dead. You can actually get into a battle and kill them for a little extra XP. But that is because of those enemies like number 9 that I mentioned earlier. By the way, number 9 is right here, and I don't need to get we're good. And he stole Eve. So now we got to get her. First thing we're trying to do now is avoid all these, they're called golems. I believe they have terrible reaction time. You're going to notice. Because we'll run around them and they'll turn around and do their thing, or they'll attack as we're already running past them. Real fun, so. What we're trying to do here is escape out to basically a military base that's getting set up. But yeah, see, they literally all ran past me to attack. So pretty easy to avoid. Get the nice tense battle music here. And of course, there's a few more RNG dodges we are going to have to deal with, unfortunately, in a moment here. but you can manipulate at least one of them. Here we're going to run behind this guy and actually stop for just a brief moment. So those lasers shoot him, and he's going to try to attack us, but not going to be able to be fast enough. So we're just going to go through this door. This next guy is going to go for a good old Falcon Punch, but we're going to be at the elevator before he actually does it. So, no biggie there. Another great situation. We're going to run behind this little dude. He's going to be derpy and just turn around and be like, wait, what's going on? Now, this specific enemy, we actually have to take damage here from the turrets, and hopefully not from him. Cool. So, that part of the game, you usually want to stay above 40 HP. Now right there, I just slightly moved to the right, and that actually helps not trigger a battle in that room. Gonna run around these people right here. Now the certain line you take actually will change where this enemy right here spawns. He's gonna come out the left there, but he can spawn behind you or even spawn in front of you. But if you take that line, he comes out of that side room. You definitely don't want to get hit by him though, because he does an insane amount of damage. I'm gonna walk behind him because he doesn't know what's going on either. If you remember earlier on the cameras, this is that door we unlocked, so finally getting some use out of this door. Here's another one of those invisible dudes. It's RNG if he's gonna pick me up or start at the end. Unfortunately, he picked me up. So all you gotta do is shake all the buttons and he should drop you. If not, he will slowly do damage over time to Aya, so we don't want that. And we found some car keys, so Aya's getting ready to steal a car, unfortunately. There's another puzzle here, which you basically, I guess, would cycle through the different colors until you got the correct car. We're just gonna put in the correct solution. So we got the car moved out, but now we also gotta open the gate just for extra steps. And that card we got earlier also comes into play there. All right. And we're about to escape out to the military area, which will also give us a full heal. That's why I haven't bothered healing yet. Here we got another invisible dude. RNG if he's going to grab me or not. He did not. He started at the other side of the room, so cool. We'll just run right away from him. No big deal. Couple more dudes here. Pretty easy to dodge and get into this next door. This is just going to unlock that door for us, but here's more of a little FMV in the background of a pre-rendered background. It was really about that at this time. I know they used it a lot in Final Fantasy VIII as well. But that unlocks this door. And we're almost, realistically, the home stretch of the speedrun as well. There's some guy up here. No big deal, run past them. Use that panel. And now we have a lot of cutscenes to skip, but basically the military showed up, saved Aya, killed a lot of enemies, kind of cleared out most of this area, but we need to save Eve still. And apparently some more like mitochondria barriers or something got put up so only Aya can get in, of course. But hey, Merflin, he's good. If we were going for the good ending, we could pet him, but unfortunately, we're not, so I'm just going to have to walk past him, but at least he is safe. Have to buy a few things over here. Going to do some inventory management beforehand. I don't need this. Don't need the pistol anymore, so we're going to just toss that on the ground. I don't need these air bursts either. 20, I believe. Get rid of that. Alright. So what we need, some magnum rounds, just a little bit. Some grenade rounds as well. And these pepper sprays are going to be very useful so we don't die on the next boss. Because with how low our HP is and not having any defensive abilities, the next boss has an ability that can just instantly kill Aya. So we're going to be using those pepper sprays to stay safe. But a little bit more backtracking. Good thing is the military cleared out everything, so I just get to calmly walk through for the most part. We do have another moment here where we have to answer the phone. And just skip through everything and hopefully don't trigger the save. Which I've done a few times, unfortunately. Now if we did pet Flint, he would help us with this soldier right here that we could save, but we need to go a bit faster so we don't have time to deal with that. And I'm not sure what happened to this soldier. He may still survive, honestly, but I'm not exactly sure he could die. But we have to save Eve, so that's what we're really worried about. Alright, gotta dodge some of these. Not too big of a deal if I get hit. Alright, some more cutscenes to skip here. Basically, Eve gets eaten by a monster, becomes like a monster or something. This storyline's very weird. But during this, Aya gets shot by Kyle because he was playing like a quadruple agent. Interesting enough, it actually does damage to us. So, gonna heal just to get that out of the way. I do need my toilet spray again. I mean, here's the toilet, of course. And we're gonna get these pepper sprays on here. Put that in there, and we'll also need the Magnum. Gonna load that from here, or else if I didn't, you start off the battle with the unloaded Magnum and can't shoot it. So do that. I actually can wait to get any Parasite powers, but this is basically a quick little boss rush before the end of the game. So this Brahmin, it's like a giant baby type thing. I'm gonna start off with some energy shots to up that damage. He's gonna use like a laser beam attack most likely, but we get that energy shot off in time. I need to shoot his shoulder a couple times. Alright, so on the third, it's gonna start slightly falling off. I'm gonna equip the handgun now. And I'm gonna shoot a power blast. It should take off the arm. Now I'm gonna use that to get the berserker stance. He's gonna switch over to this, and this is the attack that will one-shot you. So we start off with one that, then use the pepper spray, stuns him. A couple more shots. Use another pepper spray. And just kind of do this until the end, which should be a couple more. There we go. And then now we go into the actual final boss here. Just got to do a bit of inventory management. I'm also going to unlock metabolism, which will remove any debuffs that we get. Because Eve can debuff us. I'm going to go ahead and use the protein right there. We're going to equip these Ada rounds because they inflict poison on Eve and do a bit more damage. Okay, where's this? Water. These vinyl packs are basically full MP heals. Just preparing here, and I'll throw that pepper spray on there. All right, now cue the great old amazing endgame boss music. We need to dodge an attack from Eve right off the bat here, because if she hits us with a melee attack, it'll inflict a deep paralysis, which we don't want. We're gonna run this way, do that. I'm just gonna let her hit me. She should be popping up in the middle right here. So I'm gonna drink that Eau de Toilette, and we're gonna shoot her. And this Magnum, with talking about RNG, can hit anywhere from like 150 to like 1500 damage. So this boss fight can really go many different ways. But as you notice, also at certain times, she does get stunned from these bullets. So just try to do as much damage as we can. Let's see, I think I can pepper spray her from here. Oh, she still apparently didn't care. Thank you. Got one more shot. Now I'm going to swap over to our grenade launcher. And gonna heal for sure. But this is what our metabolism was for. Now, thank God I got the reload off in time. The fight will be ending shortly, and time will be when screen turns white. You know the fight's close to ending when the bottom of her gets pulled off like that. I'm gonna recast energy shot because I wasn't doing as much damage as I hoped. Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, the grenade launcher will not hit from this far away, so I'm just gonna let her do that and kind of recast energy shot. Let's see. Got some metabolism again. I use one of these packs right here. She's being mean. I gotta do that clone real quick. Unfortunately, I can't shoot her when she's down there. This is terrible RNG. But what can you do? Maybe I can move a little bit. There we go, and time.
GG.
Ooh, thank you very much. Go. Yeah, that's Parasite Eve 2. The storyline is kind of weird, and Squaresoft lost the license to the story afterwards. So, yeah, I still enjoy it as a game and a speed run, but it's definitely a weird departure from the first game. But if anyone does love the game, definitely recommend it. Or if you enjoy like tank control horror or survival horror games, definitely recommend maybe checking out the speed run. If you need help with that, then always check me out. Also like to give a shout out to Wolf DNC, who runs the game and is a mod for the board, as well as came up with a lot of routing, and probably wouldn't even be speedrunning this if it weren't for him. So definitely great, but how were we on time?
Looks like 131.25.
Just a little bit over us. That was a terrible fight. I even had my splits open, and it was like almost a minute plus on that fight alone. But I said it can go anywhere from just like I've had that before I even used all my Magnum rounds before.
It's around the estimate, so you're all good. As well, since I always love the strategy where you just use pepper spray on the final boss.
It's helpful. Just get her to stay there for a moment.
It's a fun one. Really quick as well, if anyone wanted to find you on anything, where can they find you?
That I'm mainly on Twitch. So it's channels of my_Fox. I don't really use other like Twitter or social media that much, but yeah, definitely come check me out, as well as thank you so much, GDQ and Nick Dices, for letting me run this.
Yeah, it was a good time, and I do want to say thank you for doing the run. As well, if anyone does want to see more of my Fox, you can find him on Twitch under the same name. I believe we had the Shadow Command in chat, the link in chat, so you can definitely do that there. Before we go, do you have anything else you'd like to add on in?
Nope, that's it. So thank you very much, and hope everyone has a great day or night.
That we shall, and I do want to say thank you again for doing the run, and thank you to Twitch chat here for watching tonight's episode of Speedruns From the Crypt. We do this every 2 weeks. It's always a fun time, and it was nice diving into the world of, I guess, retro PS1 horror sequels. They're kind of neat, charming games, more a little bit action-heavy than horror, but they're still fun nevertheless. As well, I do want to say that you can tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for the first step, which should have some fun run going on for that. I've been your host, Nick Dices. I put these shows together. I like to plan a lot of fun, spooky stuff, and we have plenty more coming throughout the year. So if you ever want to hear more about how I plan the episodes of The Crypt, you can find me somewhere over here. My name's around, just Nick Dices on everything. That being said, I do want to say thank you all once again for watching, and have a wonderful rest of the day and or night. And take it easy.